Oh, welcome back, everybody.
It's already started.
I feel like I just got insulted. Man,
No. I was taking your lead.
Jeff did his own count-in tonight for this episode, so that is a first. That never happened in any nominal episode.
I thought it was sign language.
He did a self-gratifying count-in.
It was we've arrived. Thank you so much for rejoining us here on the Fireside Fables.
Welcome back to more of the
16.
same.
Yeah, we're coming right back into it. Yeah, nothing has changed. We still have zero professionalism at this point.
If anything, we got worse.
It might.
Yeah,
be,
probably.
Yeah, probably. So
Our levels
anyway,
have risen, but our maturity has not.
No.
and likely won't. So
It never evolves. It just gets lower.
that's right. But that's part of the fun here at the Fireside. So, you just hope you don't get kicked in. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us. We are tickled to death to have you here. We are going to get up to a little bit of a time jump here and describing how the world has changed and adapted since the events of the Woeful Uprising. But first, we need to, guys, it's been a while, so we need to have we need to have our chuckles mustered. So give me just a second here. I gotta find out where I put that playlist. Here we go. Take it away,
Adam, go for it.
Adam.
All right. Well, just so you know, Sean doesn't get credit for this one, so take that for what it's worth.
Send the joke, Sean. Send the joke.
Send the joke, please, because otherwise we have to do this.
We don't want Adam improvising, please.
No, you don't.
We're
so
so
it's the
screwed.
new year as we record this, I thought this was fitting. Why did the chicken go to the gym?
I don't know. Why did the chicken go to the gym?
Get swole.
To work on his pecs.
That's pretty good.
Nice.
Have you guys seen my gun?
I'd give that one a 4.5 out of 5 chuckle musterings.
Wow.
There
Okay.
you go.
That's
That
a
was-
solid. I was about to say the Russian judge has showed up. But that was out of
The
10,
Russian
out of 10,
judge.
So I think it's a lot better.
I think
There you
we'll
go.
Only 7.
Not so foul. So, anyway.
Not because
So
Andrew
bad.
has anything to do with Russia. It's just their
No.
judges are really, really.
Not at all.
Funny story. One time my company
Ticklers.
thought I was a Russian national. That was
Oh,
weird.
that's
Really?
very strange.
It was weird. I was like, guys,
Wow.
I was born in the U.S., I swear.
I was
Were you
born in
practicing-
Indiana.
Were you
I was
practicing
born in
your bowling?
Ohio?
Oh, Ohio. My bad.
Then all those
Sorry.
coworkers
Even worse.
mysteriously disappeared.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, Ohio is a state that is so bad it makes people want to leave the planet, not just the country. That was an astronaut joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you spent some time around Mitchell, Indiana, which is what?
That's
the
pretty
highest
rough.
per capital astronauts per county or whatever. I don't
Really?
know. They had like 3.
Mitchell's pretty cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Gus Grissom was from Mitchell, Indiana.
Wow. Cool.
Oh, yeah, well, we had the Blue Angels come once.
Woo!
We got Deke Slayton up here.
Oh,
so-
yeah. You ever heard of Henry Ford? He's dead.
Oh, he's dead.
Oh. that took the whole
All right.
song. So
All right.
Okay.
So D&D guys, yeah.
hey.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yes,
Okay.
baseball.
Let's jump into a bit of a recap here.
Good, because I
and-
forgot everything.
Yes, literally everything.
That's why we take notes, Jerry.
I learned I
That's why we
didn't
take
have the
notes.
Well, you guys are
last,
taking notes?
I learned. Brendan asked me for some information. I realized I hadn't taken notes for like the last 3 sessions of the main campaign. I was like, "Ooh,
Oh, no."
I may have gone a little hard with some of the combat I regret nothing, but it may have
No.
gone a little hard to the point where you guys were
It's
like,
fine.
I can't do anything D&D related other than combat at the moment, so
Yeah.
it's fine. All right.
And Cal went pretty hard in the combat, so you know.
Yeah,
definitely.
yes, he did.
Especially that
And
last fight.
Yeah.
Now he's level 5, so we'll see what can what shenanigans we can get up to. 3 months have passed since what the peoples of Kywind are calling the Woeful Uprising. 3 months of recovery, rebuilding, and shifting allegiances. Kywind, though scarred by the violence that nearly tore it apart, is now cautiously moving forward. And while the streets bear the marks of destruction, a sense of hope is beginning to take root. The city that once teetered on the brink of collapse now stands in the midst of a pivotal moment in its history. The martial law that had once held Kywind in a vice grip has been lifted.
Woo!
Easing restrictions, the city has returned to a semblance of normality. Now, with Tomicus Mayhew stepping down as governor, Kywind prepares for a crucial election. The candidates vying for the city's highest office each represent distinct visions for its future. One such as an idealist, the next a pragmatist, and the third a traditionalist. Time will tell which Kywind chooses. These elections will determine whether which of each of these figures will guide Kywind into its new era. The outcome remains uncertain as tensions simmer beneath the surface. The city's future is indeed at stake, and each candidate represents a distinct vision for how Kywind should rebuild in the wake of its turmoil. At the same time, the aftermath of the uprising has left lasting changes throughout the city. The Dusk Fair, once a private corporation, has been reorganized into a public institution after the betrayal and death of its former leader, Eliza Fairchild. Her failed coup and assassination attempt against Lady Janelle Stewart have permanently altered the Dusk Fair's leadership structure, and its mercenaries have been dispersed. The company is now under intense scrutiny, and its future is uncertain as of yet as the city seeks to regain its balance. Several of the mercenary companies have approached Cal, a Phoenix Company, to offer their services in rebuilding the city, distancing themselves to avoid scrutiny and to align themselves with the respected organization as they prepare for the future also. One such endeavor was the construction of a hospital, a grand undertaking that has benefited many in the city, and a children's wing and orphanage to follow up on the losses the city has endured during the uprising. Timaeus has taken up that charge, both as the hospital, in the hospital front, as well as the orphanage, feeling a great call to help the populace of the city recover from its wounds it has experienced. From holding some office hours to appointing department heads and directors, Timaeus has played a pivotal role in the morale boost of the city. In the wake of Broddard Silverpick's death and the collapse of his singular ownership, the Dusk Mines have been split among the foremen and chief engineers. Those who did not take a stake in the mines sold off their rights, leading to a fragmented but still profitable industry. Among those making moves in the landscape, Zeke Clegane, a former foreman who helped the Phoenix Company during the uprising, has approached them with an offer. Purchase a mineshaft for him to manage. Cal, with his sharp business acumen and commanding presence, successfully brokered the deal. And now the Featherlit Foundries and Featherlit Mines, a subsidiary of Phoenix Company, stands as a growing enterprise. Religiously, Kywind has experienced a drastic shift. The Temple of Dawn has lost many of its followers, with a large number now turning to the worship of Gudrus, Aksada, and Sephira, deities more aligned with vengeance, chaos, and the inescapable moment of death. The once predominant faith of Nomos, Sirah, and Yavin has waned, leaving the cities in the grasp of powers more focused on grim reality than a prosperous future. All in all, the city at one point was likely 60-30-10 in terms of those faithful to the dawn, those then faithful to the dust, and those more agnostic. Now, it's more along the lines of a 50-30-20 to dusk, dawn, and agnosticism. A drastic shift for the Temples of Dawn. In the shifting spiritual landscape, Arlen has found new purpose within an order known as the Luminant, a society now separate from the Temple of Dawn. Led by Bianca de la Costa, the Dawnbearer, The Luminant is dedicated to the documenting of world events, rooting out corruption, and providing a home for those who feel lost. Arlen has worked diligently to expand his role within the organization and has earned a promotion from Candle to Torch, and his responsibilities are growing as he hones his skills in service to the Luminant's greater goals. Meanwhile, Timaeus has been investigating the abandoned Tower of the Arcanum, a relic of the city's former magical grandeur. While most of its contents were destroyed during the uprising, Timaeus uncovered 2 key items: a hidden elemental sealed within a vial, and the map of the city of Inode with a cryptic message on the back. The message is a call to return to Inode to aid in the critical research project there, and to let Kywind burn, if necessary. Though the tower is no longer a source of great knowledge, Timaeus' discoveries point to something much bigger. With their attention now on Inode, Turpin remains focused on finding his missing family, particularly his Uncle Merrick, his Aunt Petunia, and many cousins, who were last seen headed towards Inode on Chumas. His search for them has become increasingly personal, and the journey ahead promises to hold answers. The city of Kywind endured much, but its story is far from over. Phoenix Company, hailed as the saviors of the city, now stand at the crossroads of its next great adventure. The shifting political tides, the fractured religious landscape, and the uncertain future of Kywind's economy will all play a role in the journey ahead. Thus, as Phoenix Company reconvenes, the winds of change blow in every direction. With Inode on the horizon, the path ahead is unclear. But one thing is certain: the challenges that lie ahead will test them in ways that they've never imagined. And so we now zoom in on the bustling Phoenix estate. Phoenix Company's villa in Kywind is not merely a singular building, but an expansive estate that stretches across 1/8 of an entire city block. It is an impressive collection of graceful structures, interconnected courtyards, and lush gardens. Tucked within the city's bustling heart, the villa is a serene sanctuary, surrounded by tall stone walls that stand at a dignified 12 feet, offering both privacy and protection. The walls themselves are adorned with creeping ivy and fragrant roses, their petals rich in color and scent. At the gate, wrought iron archways are etched with the symbols of Phoenix Company, resplendent wings and a rising sun, marking the entrance to a space that is equal parts home, headquarters, and haven. Inside the villa is an intricate array of buildings, all centered around a large, open courtyard. And the moment you step through the gates, you're greeted by the sight of a meticulously manicured garden, where vibrant flower beds and trees shade winding stone paths. The air is heavy with the fragrance of jasmine, lavender, and citrus blossoms, while the sound of a gentle stream trickles through the courtyard, adding a musical undertone to the space. And a large fountain sits at the heart of the garden, its crystalline water splashing softly over stone, casting tiny droplets that shimmer in the sunlight. The estate is home to several buildings, each serving a specific purpose within the daily life of Phoenix Company. To the left, an administrative wing, a building with high, arching windows and airy open spaces where company business is conducted. Within the faint clatter of quills and parchment, the low murmur of discussions and the occasional sound of laughter from the members of the company provide a stark contrast to the serenity of the garden outside. The floors are made of polished wood, and shelves line the walls, filled with scrolls and books that detail everything from legalities of mercenary work to the historical records of company affairs. On the right side, a building stands that serves more as a personal space, the residential quarters and villa for Phoenix Company's core members. These rooms are luxurious, yet practical, furnished with comfort in mind. Large, soft beds are adorned with richly woven tapestries and open windows which let in a fresh breeze, which rustles the curtains and carries the sound of the city just beyond the walls. Even the halfling quarters are to size and continue to impress with the combination of form and function. The interior as a whole is bright, airy, uncluttered, with touches of personality scattered throughout. Personal artifacts, a few mementos from the uprising, maps from the world, and pins marking location of interest for the company's future missions and endeavors. Nestled northward in the center of these buildings is a large and expansive open space that serves as both a communal meeting area and a place for social gatherings. High vaulted ceilings give the hall an air of grandeur, with exposed beams and long windows that let in streams of golden light. Long wooden tables are scattered throughout, with benches where members of Phoenix Companies gather for meals, discussions, planning sessions. And on the walls, tapestries depict the scenes of past triumphs, battles won, mercenaries united, and a symbolic rebirth of Kywind after the Woeful Uprising. It is here that Phoenix Company holds most of its important meetings and celebrations. The outer edge of the courtyard is lined with a series of smaller buildings, each housing training facilities, a weapons room, a residential cottage, and the newly minted smithy of Harduk. There's also a barracks, and finally a library filled with books on tactics, history, and mercenary codes. Hear the sound of the company's rigorous training, swords clashing, shields being tested, and a rhythmic thud of martial arts practice add to the ambiance. Outside in the training yard, the scent of sweat and leather mingles with the fresh, earthy scent of the garden, while members of the company sharpen their skills in preparation for whatever challenges lie ahead. The gardens themselves are a testament to the careful design. A series of stone benches and alcoves are scattered along the garden paths, providing quiet spots for reflection or informal meetings. Fruit-bearing trees and well-kept herb beds, all planned and planted by Beatrice herself. They line the edges of the garden, and vines wrap around the trellises that provide shade from the summer sun. The garden feels like an extension of the villa, blurring the lines between nature and architecture. Birds chirp from tall trees, and the occasional rustle of small animals from the hedgerows adds a touch of life to the peaceful surroundings. At night, lanterns illuminate the villa's path and courtyard, casting a soft glow across the stone and water, and the hum of the city becomes a distant murmur. The courtyard feels like an entirely different world, where the struggles of the city and the dangers beyond the walls seem miles away. The villa, with its sprawling structures, vibrant gardens, and peaceful atmosphere, has become a true home for Phoenix Company, a symbol of both their victory and their ongoing journey. This villa is more than just a place to stay. It is the base of their operations, their sanctuary, and their reward for the sacrifices made during the uprising. Within these walls, they can regroup, plan, and recover before embarking on the next chapter of their adventure, knowing that the city they've helped save is now their home, and they are part of its stewards. Our attention shifts deeper now, to the Great Hall, where Turpin is finishing his elevensies. A smiling Beatrice picking up the trays and wheeling them back to the kitchens. It is at that moment that both Cal and Arlen stride in, speaking about official company business and recent acquisitions of yet another mine shaft for the Featherlit Mines. Gents, over to you. Let's start with Turpin. Let's describe for the audience what differences they might note about Turpin as the scene shifts and the camera focuses in on our halfling friend.
Well, if he's if he's wearing his business attire, let's just say, he's probably got more than one outfit now. You'll see him sitting in the chair, and he has on what could be described as camouflage, but it's not like a military uniform kind of camouflage. It's blacks and grays, and his shirt and his pants are like a lighter kind of a black and gray type of color. They just kind of blend together. Don't think hard lines. It's just kind of a ghosty kind of camouflage maybe look to it. He has boots now. If he has if he's got a belt around his waist and a couple of buckles here and there, and the metal on the buckles is actually kind of orangey, going with Phoenix Company's colors.
Okay, yeah, so kind of coppery.
Yeah, and then probably hanging on the chair next to him is his cloak. This is not the normal cloak that he had been wearing. If you're walking at him from the back, it's actually kind of it's actually kind of hard to see. It has almost like shifting colors, and it's a much darker black camouflage, look to it, where his clothes are more of a gray. If you're walking facing him, the inside lining of the cloak is an array of oranges and yellows, almost like a fiery camouflage on the inside of that. It's to give homage to his Phoenix Company brothers and the family that he has found here. And it's built for sneaking about. It's built for not being seen as much as possible, kind of a thing. So he's embraced the Phoenix Company idea, but still likes to be in the woods. Is where his kind of natural habitat is, I guess you could say.
Sure. All right.
Arlen, have you seen Turpin anywhere? I can't see him.
He seems to be missing
Yeah, blending in a lot more lately.
with the background.
Yeah.
Speaking of our two tallies over here.
Sorry, I couldn't see you down there.
That's cute.
Yeah, well, you know,
Yeah.
one day it'll
Andrew.
make someone laugh.
Yeah. What does our audience note about Cal in terms of any physicality changes?
Not much has changed. At this point, he's probably coming straight off of the practice field, having worked and drilled with some of the mercenary members of Phoenix Company, kind of overseeing that training. The biggest, starkest change of him is he's gotten a haircut. Sorry, audience, he's no longer a Fabio, but he still has all. He still has this very stark white hair, but at this point it's been cut a lot more close. Someone alluded to this in our preamble, but think much more Thor Ragnarok. kind of
Chris Hemsworth, come play D&D with us.
Please do.
Please.
That'd be awesome.
I would swoon so hard.
There you go.
Andrew will shave his beard if you come, Chris.
Yikes.
Don't
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby!
You gotta be careful, Adam. At this point, we're not even sure that Andrew really has a chin.
True.
You trust me, you guys don't want to see the opposable thumb that would just be showing up to play D&D. You guys remember
Like
Spy
the thumb
Kids?
guys from Spy Kids?
Spy Kids? Yeah, I would just show up and it'd be like, hey guys.
Yeah.
Hey, tell me you grew up in the 90s without telling me you grew up in the 90s.
Yeah.
Right there with you, buddy boy.
Oh,
us-
man.
make us
Antonio
Spy Kids.
Banderas, come play D&D with us.
There you go. There you go.
Yes. Yes.
You don't have to play a cat unless you just want
That's
to.
true.
Yeah.
Unless you want to.
Yeah, you can play Zorro. I would be happy.
Absolutely.
It's the same character.
We could use it. We have called out Antonio Banderas.
Yes.
Yes.
You have been called out. Come or clean your honor.
The biggest difference is at this point, we might have had the slight description is he has kind of upgraded his armor. He is now wearing a full plate that has been decked out into kind
The
of
Harduk plate, yes.
There you go.
a full kind of iconography of Phoenix Company. He spends a lot more time in it at this point, just trying to get used to wearing it as
Sure.
full plates a lot, man. And he kind of
swole.
knows that this next stage is going to be rough. So he's starting to get ready for it. But
Interestingly enough. All right. And Cody, let's talk about Arlen here for a second. He's long ditched his leathers and has now taken up robes. Let's talk about his physical appearance.
Yeah.
What's changed?
So he's taken off his light leather armor and he's wearing black with light grayish tones, the monk robes.
Sure, kind of like a charcoal
And
or ash
it-
gray kind of.
Right. And it's simple in the style that Arlen has always kept his wardrobe attire and everything about himself as simple as possible. And it seems like he's freer in the way that he moves, and he's lighter on his feet, all because of his monk training and everything.
oh, he didn't blow away.
There you go.
So he's the main thing that is different is he's traded in his crossbow, which was his main weapon, for a quarterstaff that I I have a hard time describing.
Sure. Yeah. So it's almost it's got different, almost like the compartmentalization aspect to it, where it can kind of break down and change its form. The way that I think of it is kind of akin to a quarterstaff that can then become a nightstick, so to speak, almost like a policeman's baton.
It can be.
Yeah.
He can
Kinda.
He can hold it,
Go
as a bracer to,
Sure.
as a shield to block blows, but he can also extend it and use it as a full quarterstaff. So
Yeah, sure.
cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. And not too far away is the rapier. I'm guessing tucked either on his back or his side as just a means for when things really get nasty. But this would be an upgraded rapier, something that Hardwick has been working on for you, the Flamberge style blade that has this horrifyingly sharp cutting edge. It would be quite the blade to be pierced by. Not many will survive that kind of a cut or an impact. So again, when things are truly dire and necessary, something to pull out and use. For you still have your roguish ways, but you're starting to learn how to maybe take them down a different path, a way to repurpose them and use your Jedi powers only for good, as it were. So that being said, the three of you there inside of the dining hall, Charlatan and Timaeus still not unseen yet. We will get there, but the three of you, the stage is yours at this moment. Anything that you'd like to discuss or flash back to, we can certainly cover any of those things.
Fellas, you missed 11sies.
It's fine. I don't need any more.
Again. I mean, come on. You've been working out all day. I can smell you from here.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, someone's got to help train everybody, but
Well, you do a good job from what I hear. So
I appreciate that, and I hear that you do a great job at 11sies.
yeah, hey, anything worth doing is worth doing right. So
Yeah.
If I'm the only one here, then it's still 11sies, and I guess that makes me the best one at it. So I'm okay with that.
How's Franklin doing?
Very well. He's still getting used to some of the new changes he's going through himself, and it's
Difficult time.
Well, Beatrice adjusting to it's probably the hardest part.
Puberty.
No, that's not. No.
The puberting.
That's not. He's a little young for that still. It's more
The happening.
It's more the whole, what do you even call it?
The chosen one of it all?
Yeah, being a chosen one and stuff.
The emissary for a group of yet unknown gods. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
They're both, all of us are probably kind of still wrestling with that. So
sure. I compartmentalized it like 3 months ago.
right, yeah.
Well played.
I shoved it way down there.
That's a problem.
You stay down there.
That's a problem for future Cal. Not right now.
right.
That's the problem
Yeah.
with future Cal's therapist.
Yeah.
Arlen, how's the Illuminance going?
Well,
I heard you're a torch now. You graduated
have
from
been
Candle.
I have been promoted, yes, and I feel my skill growing daily.
Yeah. You look much brighter.
Thank
You
you.
could probably provide area in a 30-foot radius now.
There is a bit of a glow to him.
Wow.
It's just, yeah.
No, gee.
Why be a candle when you can be a torch?
It is my pleasure to listen to your wonderful banter every day.
Cody, would you say it fills you with merriment?
Merriment
yes.
No,
and
not-
gratitude
And
and
gratitude. Yeah. So is campfire next? Is that right? It goes from candle, torch, campfire, lantern, something like that. What's your next step?
Street lamp.
Street lamp. That's
Yeah.
Flashlight.
I'm
well. He's already a torch. So it's-
Well, no,
endeavoring to be the
if you're
best
British, it's
torch
the
that
same
I
thing.
can be before I
Flashlight's like a subsection, like it's a specialization inside.
Well, there you go. It's the Western version of torch.
But you got 1st degree burn torch, 2nd degree burn torch, 3rd degree burn torch.
So
Mias, when did you get here?
Oh, sorry. No, that was a sending spell. Sorry.
Oh,
He's been smells all over this place.
Yeah.
He's such a loner after getting up in the tower and things like that.
I just
You
called
don't
a
really
chat.
see him much anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He just sends a single text message every day and like
Still here by myself.
My gosh. So Cody, actually, after torch would be pyre.
Higher.
Oh.
Yes.
That's what you burn witches
That's
on.
right.
I-
That's what.
no,
I do
not anymore.
I do endeavor to become a pyre after I have been a torch, but I have much to learn before I get to.
I mean, I
To
can
that
help you
level.
build one. It should take like 30 minutes.
Well, we do miss Uladar. That's for sure.
Yes.
There is a bit of a shift. We'll go back and cover a moment that takes place actually within the Luminant as Bianca de la Costa is promoting Arlen. She actually gives him his job, not just a rank, but also his job. He is promoted as a torch, but also as a seeker to go into the world and to discover and to seek out information so that it can be brought back inscribed and added to the halls of records that the Luminant are working on. So that is not just you have your title of torch, but also your role within the organization as a seeker, a truth seeker. So
Yeah, I know we're giving you a lot of cheek for it, but honestly, Arlen, I am really proud of what you've been able to accomplish.
Thank you.
It's
So
just
not calling you
so
Your
it's
Majesty.
just so easy to make fun of. I don't know why.
I'm not calling you Your Majesty. Not till you that.
No. Not until you're like lighthouse or like.
Yeah, I want to see proof. I want to see a crown on your head. Then maybe I'll think about it.
well, Cody, that does
Ser-
bring up an interesting question. How much time have you spent in pursuing the Lady Janelle?
He's so Arlen is a little bit new to that type of
Relationships.
Relationship.
I can give you some tips if you need some.
Yeah.
Don't
we can sit down and talk about it.
Don't ever talk.
If you ever
to
need any
Turpin
help,
about- no, please.
I'm kind
no.
of an expert.
Turpin's got away with the lady.
The
That's right, I
ladies.
do.
The ladies.
Yeah.
Lady,
No.
Good
singular.
way.
I still wake up in cold sweats thinking about that night.
I think it went fine. I don't know what you're talking about. But that's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he sleeps
fine.
with the embrace of a
The
patron. A warm sword. Yeah, no wonder it's sweats, but the cold part, that's interesting.
yeah.
So Arlen really has no clue. He's moving at glacial speed in that regard, and choosing to focus more on his Luminant training than that. But he is
So,
still.
do you
interested.
need me to like set you up a date, or like I can clear out the ballroom for you?
The lady steward has also been very busy, so we don't have a lot of time for
I mean, she said she was free on Thursday.
on Thursday.
Hey, if Janethi works for her.
Right.
I mean, I can set an entire honor guard for you guys. We can go through. I can get like a palanquin. That could be pretty cool. You know, I
Well-
heard palanquins in the summer are just the height of what the young couples are doing these days.
Gal's got people. Don't forget that now. He's
won't
got
be necessary.
Or there's always the ever traditional Chima drawn carriage.
Yeah.
That won't be necessary.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
I could build like an arbor for you in our garden.
No, thank you.
Okay. See, you're hopeless.
Hopeless. I choose to stand hopeless. If I could stand on my own.
I thought you were a torch, not hopeless.
No.
You must shine bright.
Yeah, but just as a note, like you guys, we've known each other for 3 months at this point, and you guys have definitely noticed Cal has opened up a lot more. Just a lot more easygoing. Just obviously by the banter. So
Yeah. It's good to hear your voice more often, Cal.
well, I mean, to be fair, when we met, it was really just kind of a rush, and a lot of things were happening really fast. We never really got the chance to know each other.
That was a very interesting week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on, it took 2.
Sometimes,
Okay.
sometimes it feels like it was several months.
Yeah. Well, I know. I feel that.
Kind of like half a year, really. But
I regret nothing.
Nope.
so, yeah.
Oh,
do you know
but
where?
there's
Do you know where the others are?
I haven't seen them yet this morning.
All right. I was supposed to talk with Charlatan about a few things, but
So, let's actually jump over to that. Jared, where is Charlatan going to be on this fine summer day?
He would be down at the Dusk Fair, managing a few booths. There are still, after the uprising, there were still I imagine there were still some displaced families had lost their homes and things, and so he has set up a series along with the aid of the Dusk Church, has set up a series of soup kitchens and booths and things like that to provide alms for the poor. And so he's down there managing and talking and doing charitable acts of kindness as Elias. And when you see him, he looks largely the same, with 2 exceptions. His clothes have remained the same. Elias's clothes have remained the same. Kind of soft blues and purples, common basic clothes. But he is wearing beneath his cloak, his traveling cloak, his cloak of billowing. He is wearing 2 silk vestments that trail down, embroidered with gold moons, crescent moons, to mark him as a servant of Kamaria. And another addition he's made, in order to, again, match kind of the company line to state who his allegiances with, he has had someone expertly embroider one half of the cloak of billowing, the back of it, with a heraldic rampant phoenix in gold thread and red.
Not Geraldo.
Not Geraldo.
Okay, I think so. Okay, sorry.
Heraldic with an H,
Don't
not a G.
let the
Got it.
Don't let the mustache fool you.
That was a good one.
No, but he's just kind of spending his days helping the people and talking to them and counseling them, and he's managed to thwart off a few people trying to get him to take more of an active role in public office with the church. He has so far avoided being tied down specifically that way, but his reputation within the city for a religious figure has grown somewhat, but he's just doing the Lord's work.
Very good. So, if the party wishes to go and find Charlatan, or Elias at this point, they are able to do so, heading over to the Dusk Fair. The Dusk Fair is a little closer to the villa than the Castle Dusk is. So, you guys are in a different district of the city. Your villa is. So, it's maybe 30 minutes to the Dusk Fair from where you guys are at. So, after a short little walk, eventually you're able to find Charlatan handing out soups and doing what he does. Yeah.
Good.
Charlatan, you note your friends closing in as you're finishing up your shift.
You see him. He's talking to a young boy, making sure he gets another helping of soup, and he looks at you over his shoulder, and his eyes sparkle a little bit as he sees the three of you.
You know, I'm really happy you started this up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's the least we can do. Kywind has been exceptionally kind to us, and I thought, why not share some of that kindness back?
I understand. It's still just a nice thing to be doing.
I wish we could do more. Giving them a meal is one thing, but the housing problem is going to be an issue for some time.
How is the rebuilding process going along? Does anybody know?
That would be probably a question for Master Arlen there, seeing as how much time he's been spending with the stewardess of late.
Not really. He really doesn't even want to see her.
But he hasn't asked her out yet?
I've offered my assistance,
Don't, please. That's Turpin. That is largely unnecessary.
I mean,
it worked out for me.
I told him that Lady Janelle was free on Thursday night. She
Thursday
specifically
night?
mentioned it, and he doesn't seem to even want to go.
We are simply learning more about one another.
Yeah, you should learn about one another together.
Yeah, Arlen, what you're describing is known as a holding pattern.
Or stalking.
I always thought it was like a friend zone or something.
Yeah, if you do it in the same room, it's a date. If you do it from the bushes, it's a felony.
Next time I have one of my boys threaten to do that, it'll be serious.
Yeah.
But in terms of the housing problem, certainly many of the mercenary companies they're chipping in to try and continue to rebuild houses, and right now it's more of a hostels are very popular right now, and seem to be the way forward until we can the city can kind of restore a lot of the damage that was done from much of the rioting.
Well, the Trade Federation is bogged down in procedures in the Senate, and
they've blockaded Naboo.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
They've sent negotiators, so we'll see if that pans out here soon.
But the Queen will not sign such a treaty. So.
No, definitely not.
No. Somehow the Huts got involved. It's weird.
What can you do?
Is this legal?
I better make it legal.
I will make it.
I did, Charlatan or Elias. Apologies. Sorry.
It's fine.
At some point, I would like to talk to Jag about some of the stuff that's happening in the desk fair to see if we can some opportunities that might be arising. I might try and lean on some of his expertise.
We could certainly do that. In fact, and he kind of looks around and says,
"No one's here.
I'm not
close the door.
I'm about finished. Why don't we actually?
We can
how
go
far?
back.
How far from? Can't believe I'm going to ask this. How far from Sandwich's shop are we?
Sandwich's shop is actually not too far from where you guys are at. It's maybe 5 minutes.
Okay, why don't we go there? A little less open. And
I mean, we could certainly try and use his expertise to see what kind of resources we might be able to leverage in order to help with that very same housing problem.
Of course, and then as Elias turns, he suddenly he goes to take a step forward, and then his step hitches a little bit, almost like with a limp, and he suddenly his hand goes to his side, and he goes, "Oh, excuse me, that's been happening recently. I'm fine. Let's go.
Something you ate, Elias?
Have been having some stomach issues.
Heartburn?
It's nothing. It'll clear up.
Elias, you've literally saved our lives. You can tell us anything you want.
Understand? Trust me when I say that there is nothing to be alarmed about. It's just a new sort of condition I'm adjusting to, but it's all fine.
You're not going to turn into Santa Claus, are you?
No. Not any time soon.
That season has passed.
Yes.
Oh.
Alan,
Yes.
come play D&D with us.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, Kurt Russell. Yeah. It's fine. And then he just keeps he's telling you this as we're walking towards Sandwich's shop.
Yeah. Why are we going to Sandwich's shop?
Well, he's got that lovely basement.
Oh, okay, that's fair. Yeah.
Well, that was
believe
his house,
The
but
basement was at his house.
Oh, that's right. Well, I'm sure he'll have something for us.
That is fair.
Sure.
well, it's not too long until you arrive there, and surely enough, you enter in and ting-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, and you hear this. Hey, welcome there, friend. It was so good to see ya.
Sandwich,
Good to see you too, Sandwich.
as
What can
horrifying
I
as
do you
ever.
for?
Could we use your basement? You do have a basement on this premises, right?
Why, sure I do. Sure, you can use my basement.
I appreciate it.
Anything down there we need to not touch or anything?
Don't touch any of the corpses down there.
Okay.
Yeah,
Inside
we
check.
know. We know.
I'm just funning y'all.
I just decided to roll with it, but
Yeah,
I
sure.
mean,
Well, that's
you
what
know,
makes it fun, friend.
yeah.
If I walked down there and I saw 14 corpses, I wouldn't be surprised for some reason. I don't know.
See, you funning me right back.
Yep. Fun.
We trust you, Sandwich. That's what we're trying to say.
Yeah, sure, but look out for the gators down there.
The
Okay.
gator.
You don't want to be death ruled by a crocodile.
No, you do not.
You got an extra shovel around?
Oh, that's a big gator there.
Big gator dead.
You got to get yourself a scattergun for that, friend.
Okay.
All right, so I guess we go to the corpse-riddled basement.
No, it's actually well lit. It's mostly just extra storage and materials that he uses for his enchantments. He trusts you quite a bit to let you down here, but yeah, there's nothing down here.
We've given him a lot of money.
Yeah,
That's
Yeah.
fair.
and we save the city.
Yeah.
man.
So we
Small detail.
So when we go, Elias will be the last one in the room, and then he'll go to close the door. And when he closes the door, he turns around, and now he looks like Jag. His clothes have changed. They are wealthier, more noble clothes, lots of gold trim and silk. But his cloak is a billowing with the Phoenix emblem on it is still there.
Nice.
As if he's wearing it over the illusion.
Right.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah, and he turns, and you see this thin pencil beard, handsome human man that you haven't really seen too much of, and he looks at Cal and says, "How may I be of assistance?"
Well, I assume that you've at least been paying attention rudimentally to the ongoings of the Dusk Fair.
Yes.
Recently we purchased another mine shaft, and I'm hoping you maybe have some advice on how best to distribute those funds in order to maybe start setting up, at the very least, more permanent housing, or how to leverage those assets in the right way. I can only go so far with my acumen.
Of course. Yes, I see. So I assume that you mean that this would be towards the furtherance of the company's funds as a whole,
Yes,
and not
so,
just to the benefit of the city at large.
Yeah. Well, you can think about it. They would be areas of land held by a Phoenix Company that we would be potentially developing as real estate, and then eventually maybe selling off to the city.
Right.
So we would be investing into the land that we now own, and then turning over. Riveting conversation, guys. D&D talking about housing
So
and real estate
what-
development.
What I'll try to do
We
here-
benefit, they benefit. It's a win-win. It's
what
awesome.
I'll try to do here, Brendan, is there like something I can roll to see what Jag would know about that?
Sure. Roll an intelligence.
Okay.
Let's make it a history roll.
Okay, I am proficient in history, and
Yeah.
I'll do knowledge of a past life to add a
There you go.
d6 to it.
There you go.
Here we go.
Natural 20. Never mind.
Hey, he knows
There you
everything
go.
about real estate development.
Yeah.
So one of the things that you picked up on real quick when you had a chance to kind of look at some of the numbers was that the purchase of the second shaft was all made from the profits from the first shaft. So it's just continuing to snowball.
Mhm.
Let the funds kind of roll and pick up more and more. Don't live off of what you're breaking now. Keep rolling that forward into the next thing and
Right.
continue to pick up and accrue, which was largely what made Jag so wealthy in the first place, was how he continued to just roll forward. Live off of the lowest means you possibly can and have
Mhm.
everything continue to press forward towards your financial goals. And in doing so, you can acquire a lot more.
Yeah.
So,
Very quickly.
so what you're saying is taking the profits from the second shaft and into purchasing some of the houses and then reinvesting in them, and then
Yes, but you want to make sure that you also that you're diversifying, but along a specific trend.
okay,
So you don't want to just diversify into orchards and stables.
yeah.
If you're going to buy an orchard, diversify into storage instead of horse things, you know. and-
yeah. So we have the second shaft. So
I would personally look at it if real estate is how you would like to go forward. I would look into buying real estate in surrounding the mines themselves, businesses that are adjacent to the mineral industry.
all right, sounds good. I appreciate your advice.
Of course, anytime. Do we know when the airship will be completed?
Still working on it.
Tamias has been the one primarily leading that charge, and we do have things to actually shoot over to in terms of that. So we can
That's
certainly
good.
have
That's a
that
good
conversation. Yeah.
I do have some ideas about that, though, that I would like to discuss with the wider group, but we should wait for Tamias to join us before we
Of course.
discuss that.
Well,
Cal, are you
anything
gonna find
communicated
yourself-
to Elias will be privy to me as well.
Yeah.
Cal, are you
I
going to
think-
find yourself comfortable on said airship?
I mean, we'll see, you know?
I assume they fly pretty high.
I typically, I mean, if I'm being honest, it's the fall and living with the pain that I'm scared of. If I fall and I die, then it's not my problem anymore.
It's not the fall you should be worried about, friend. It's the short
sudden
stop at the end.
Yeah, okay, yeah. You're so cool and clever. So, I have some ideas about maybe what to do, and that might be part of some of that real estate that we just talked about. So,
Of course. Well, if I can be of any service, just let me know.
yeah, I'll be interested to hear what you have to think about it after we discuss it with.
Let me give it some
I-
more thought too.
I will say, Jag, the East Bastion Trading Company, has 0 airships.
Right.
Yeah.
There are no airships on the Freierheim.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
We're
So,
special.
yeah, I'll
Potentially,
I'll
it's a
disclose it
game
whenever
changer.
We're able to talk about it as a group, because I think I have a really cool idea that I want to pitch to everybody.
I look forward to hearing it.
Yeah.
Well, now's the time during the renovation and repair. So,
Yeah.
we can fast forward to the group then getting with Tamias, if that's
Sure.
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
So as soon as we're out
Uh,
of the basement, he turns back into Elias. He
back
doesn't
into
want,
Elias.
He doesn't want Jag seen on the street.
No,
Correct.
I wouldn't
Makes
either.
sense. Makes sense. All right. So before we get to rejoining Elias, first we have to, or sorry, Tamias. First, we have to talk about the investigation into the tower. So, Jeff, let's talk briefly about that before we get into present day. More what happened 2.5-ish months ago. So, going into the tower, Timaeus elected to do this alone. Who would have known what sort of magical traps could have been present, and he went slowly, biding his time. This was a several-day project that he undertook, and most of what he found was just devastation, destruction, straight like State Department
Destruction.
has to clear all information. It is just totally like CIA base in another country. Get all the information out, destroy as many records as possible.
2 days before the Enron warrants is what you're saying.
We're abandoning
Yes.
the embassy.
Yeah,
Yes.
the
Very much
embassy's
so.
on fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's time
Jack
to go.
Ryan is here trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, with Scotch tape.
John Krasinski, come play D&D with us.
Yeah,
Please.
there you go.
Another person I would swoon over.
Yeah. They're with you. And bring Emily.
Yeah,
Yes.
she's cool.
Let's go. Okay, so
We
that being
promise
said-
not to hit on her.
duh.
Okay.
I can't. I mean,
Speak for yourself.
all right. So anyway, Timaeus, continuing on in this thought, eventually you find one of the interior research chambers, and inside it is just scorched. The experimentation quarters of the Inodian Tower were a stark contrast to the rest of the abandoned structure. Whereas the other rooms bore heavy signs of hasty evacuation, scattered papers, toppled furniture, this chamber, after its scorching, is just eerily still. There are the scorch marks on the walls and a lingering metallic tang in the air, which betrays the powerful magics that were once wielded here. Timaeus, carefully navigating the room, your chronologist's instincts draw on the faint echoes of temporal disturbances that lingered in this space. His sharp eyes eventually catch a faint glimmer of red just beneath a dust-coated table, just at the edge of a deep gouge in the stone floor, and kneeling down, you reach for the small vial. Its glass miraculously unbroken despite the chaos, and inside a viscous crimson liquid swirls unnaturally, defying gravity as it presses against the side of the container. As you pick it up and turn it in your hands, inspecting it closer, there's a faint pulse, almost like a heartbeat, which emanates from the liquid. And suddenly the blood quivers, and a voice, smooth yet unearthly, echoes in your mind. Who touches me? Timaeus, you don't flinch. Instead, you raise an eyebrow, your curiosity piqued.
You want me to answer?
Yeah, let's play it out.
We'll play it out. You're alive? Fascinating. You're sentient, no doubt.
The blood within the vial begins to coalesce, forming almost this humanoid shape. It's a small vial, but it can move and shape and change the way that it looks, and it presses against the glass. Its voice almost carries a childlike curiosity mixed with a deep sorrow. Alive. Yes. Sentient, yes. But trapped. Are you another tormentor, or are you something different?
Yes, I'm something different. I'm certainly not a tormentor, just a seeker of knowledge. You are quite a mystery. Would you have a name?
There's a pause, as if the blood itself were contemplating. And then slowly it replies, I am called Origin. Created here. Abandoned here. They fled and left me to rot in silence. The liquid almost surges within the vial as if it's restless. And yet you do not fear me. Why?
Fear is such a waste of energy. And you know what? Frankly, since we've been in this town, we've seen a lot stranger things. What do you want, Origin?
The vial begins to crack, and the glass is unable to contain the elemental any longer. The liquid then spills onto the table and gathers itself into a humanoid form. What once was a small vial actually expands, and a medium-sized elemental begins to swell now, coming up to match your form. It can't take your appearance, but it mimics your very shape. Blood that moves and turns and changes its face to look almost like a mirror image of you. I want to understand. Purpose. Power. Why was I made? And why did they treat me like a thing? There's a pause. His form rippling as if there's some sort of hesitation. And I thirst for vengeance against those who did this to me. But first, I need someone to help me. Someone who won't run at the sight of me.
Well, lucky for you, I don't run too often anyway, and I must say that Blood and I are old friends. If you're willing, I'd like to say we have both had a lot to learn. You about this world, and tell you the truth, me about you.
Origin tilts his head, his form stabilizing a little slightly. Then take this. Out of himself, he pulls a small case, and he sets it down on the table and pulls all of the liquid back off of it. And as you reach over and open it, there is inside two things. The first is a scroll of paper. The second is a clear, almost shell-shaped vial that kind of circles and spirals in on itself. And he kind of like looks at you regarding it and just waits to see if you take it or not.
Okay. Yeah. I take it.
I hid it. I didn't want them to have it. Perhaps these things will aid in whatever it is that you seek.
Wow. So I open it, look at it. What can I tell from just a quick look?
On the outside, the front side of it rather, you can see a pretty rudimentary map of Inode. Almost what would look almost like a tourist's map. It's folded in certain ways and then kind of scroll rolled. Okay.
A tourist map, do I recognize it at all? Open it up real quickly.
Well, one of the things that is intriguing to you, what with having detect magic going at this time, is that you note that there are faint bits of magic on the back of the paper, noting the School of Illusion magic.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I can't look at this right now. Well, I think the guys would be interested. Well, this was very kind of you to give this to me. Thank you. And I'll just put it away for now. What now?
He reaches down and his liquid kind of touches, he kind of points at the little, the small little, thing that the stopper inside of the vial. And you reach down and you pick it up and you open it, and he says, "You can carry me with you. I will go where you go until I find my answers. And perhaps even after, You are different, Timaeus, and I think I like that.
Well, then let's begin. We have a whole world to explore and irritate and do a lot together. And I hope I can show you that, there's a lot more to life than just vengeance, but we can work through that.
So you pull the stopper out and offer it, and the entirety of the elemental fits inside of the small little vial that is there. And as you're holding it, the blood kind of drips onto your finger. A piece of himself left behind, and it sinks in. And you hear a voice in your head say, "Lead the way, wizard."
Kids, in case you're wondering, the moral of the story is if you're ever exploring a abandoned wizard's tower and you find a talking flask, open it immediately.
And there's no need to worry about blood.
There should be no
Yeah,
hesitation.
especially when it's like congealed blood.
Yeah, fine. It's fine.
All right, so
Bias just got my.
You never play Dragon Age, and I can
Hey,
tell.
Jeff, the inside of your skull got haunted again.
Yeah, there we go again. Here we go. Right.
So this is how Timaeus meets Origin. And so we catch up to present day, and the party now going through town looking for where he might be. They check at the Arcanum, the Tower of the Arcanum. He's not there. They check around the hospital. Not there. Until someone says, "I believe that he's back actually at the orphanage at present moment." And so the party then continues back along the children's wing and eventually into what is the space that is there for the orphans. Hang on. As the group walks in, you can see, actually, there is a group of children, a large group of children that is gathered together, and they are singing and cheering and clapping for a we'll call it an entertainment act put on by a medium-sized congealed blood-like creature that is dancing and singing in front of them.
I'll just vomits on the ground.
He's vomiting. You see Elias going.
But it's also telling a story. It's telling an old tale, and every time it talks about one of the creatures that is here. Now, granted, Timaeus, the deep voice that you had heard, it is not the voice that it uses with these children. The voice is whimsical and playful and cheery.
Get around, kids.
The fascinating thing about it is that anytime a new character is being talked about, it changes its shape to look like the character.
That's cool.
If you've seen Venom, it's basically that.
Pretty much.
This is Venom,
it's pretty much blood venom.
It
Yes,
looks like Carnage.
It's Carnage.
It looks like Carnage, but fun like Venom. So,
Fun like Venom. That's the name of this episode, folks.
what? Who
Fun
doesn't
like
want to
Venom.
be? Who doesn't want to be Tom Hardy? Let's go. Come on.
I mean, that's
Tom Hardy can
Come
play
play
D&D.
D&D with
Please.
All right. So that being said, it is entertaining the children, and over in the side you see a Julia Lynn taking notes for Timaeus, and she is
watching in
desperately
horror.
trying. No, she's not trying to look at this thing. She is very much so unsettled by this. But Timaeus is just grinning from ear to ear. Jeff, what notices? What changes does our audience notice as the camera pans over to Timaeus taking in this scene?
Well, I don't. He probably has a little bit of darker circles under his eyes a bit. He looks a little weary, but still smiling. You notice he has another one of his cloaks on. You noticed ever since our first kind of round in the city, he has bought a lot of cloaks.
Is it outside out?
Yeah, and he makes sure that
Outside
every
out.
cloak is reversible, so that it doesn't look like it's inside out. So
Doesn't
today,
have an inside.
That's
As
right.
my
it
son would say, it's uninside out.
doesn't.
But
That's right.
unfortunately, on this particular day, he didn't wear one of his reversible ones, and it's inside out.
He's all right. I do that
You
for
can see
the
the
kids.
stitching.
I do that for the kids. That's right.
You got like the
No, but I truly do have a lot
There's
of
threads
cloaks,
that are just
so-
kind of poking off here and
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
And they're all. I mean, I've been working with these kids now, so I got puke and poop and everything else just all over me,
And blood.
because I'm bleeding. Sometimes bloody nose.
Origin's able to take all of that right out.
Yeah, he just kind of. It's great. I'm thinking about opening a laundry service, but it's
For murders?
no, yeah, just for the bloody among us, and which is usually
A laundry
us.
service for
That's
the
is
bloody
usually
among
us. He's gonna-
Yeah.
Jeff, you know what this means?
What?
We're going to stage another crime scene, and this time we're going to get it right.
Wow.
he is the crime scene.
wow.
That's
That's
right.
right.
Yeah, no joke.
Party
But-
goals.
Oh my word.
No, you can see Tobias. No, I mean, I don't think he looks weary, but he is genuinely just cracking up at Origin, that he's just tickled pink that the kids are accepting him so much. I mean, there was a little shock and probably a few tears and screams the first time they saw him. But
I just did a Scrubs hard cut to the original
yeah,
scene.
right, yeah, exactly. but
Kids running in every direction.
but you know what? Tell you the truth, kids are a lot more
One kid's
flexible.
playing in it.
Yeah, right. No, yeah, but kids are a lot more flexible than adults, and so Julia Lynn's having a hard time.
Yeah, she's
her
struggling.
her daughter's done much better, and she I'm trying to remember what is her name, Nyala.
Nyala. Mhm.
And she's been in here helping occasionally, and so she seems to, I think he won him over in the sense that he's so good with the kids. He likes the stories.
Yeah.
He makes me. Can he read?
I mean, if you've taught him to read, then yes.
Yeah, I
he's,
say
he's quite intelligent.
Yeah, as I say, and so I've been trying to teach him to read so he can get more story. Right now, his first story was you hear a thump, 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 whoosh, and it was it. So that one didn't. Yeah, the kids didn't like that, so we had to teach him some more. And
I didn't like that.
yeah, I didn't either. Yeah. So
How did we get tangent in this?
No, this isn't that tangent. But
Sometimes the
Also-
character never dies.
Never
No,
does.
that's right.
No, but I mean, Tobias also appreciates that Origin really does seem to have a sense about blood and the problems, and he's been able to point
Life.
out some things
Right.
in the kids that maybe something's going wrong. A lot of these kids
He's caught a couple of diseases
Right.
in the kids. He's been able to sense some of that.
And sucked them right out.
yeah. So yeah,
That's cool.
With a nice bottle of
What was
Chianti.
This won't hurt a bit.
he John Coffees him.
Oh yeah.
my
There you
children's
go.
book with these illustrations is going to be really scary, but no.
That's a business venture. I advise him.
Yeah,
against.
yeah,
Just-
We're gonna call that one the Red Mile.
yeah.
Oh, call it
Mile.
Just stick to click clack moo, okay?
Yeah.
Just
Cows
stick to
the
click
time.
clack moo.
Oh my word! Yeah, red eggs and never mind. We're going to we're not going there. Anyway, I think
Eggs in hand.
it's like
I've made a mistake.
hey, thanks.
I regret everything.
Why'd you
I
have to
think
make
the-
him blood themed? You
the
could have
thing
been
is-
like air.
Because that's the actual retainer. It's a blood seneskull.
Yeah, and Tobias is a doctor, so
Yes,
Just
and-
wait till
Who gets one of those and thinks, I got it?
Yes,
Children's ministry.
he is so.
Okay, but seriously, when you guys see what it can do in combat, you're gonna be like, okay,
I'm
Origin.
sure.
Oh,
I'm
I'm
sure
sure.
he's great.
No
I'm
doubt.
sure.
No, he's become very close to Origin, and I think Origin. He's so curious. He's always asking questions, so it's really fascinating. And I think he's seen something. He's talking to you guys, saying, I think he's seen something. There is something more than just vengeance, and we've all been there, right?
Yeah.
So
I lean over to Arlen and I'm like, I know he's great with the kids, but I've seen battlefields that have been less disturbing.
okay.
The
Well,
therapy bills are out of this world.
This is another thing. Cal's compartmentalized and shoved
Yeah.
way down.
Well, maybe these
Nope,
are
can't handle it. Nope.
future doctors
Nope,
and
not right
nurses.
now.
These are the people, the kids that are going to be strong. But hey, these kids have no one. And, so now
Tommy, these are called opportunities.
yeah, that's right. These are tonsils, but that's okay. That's a different show and tell. Hey, I got to come up with something to entertain the kids.
Oh man.
Sorry.
Hold on, you got ultrasonic and no one can hear you.
He picked up Origin, the big red elemental.
Anyway,
missed opportunity.
Yep, this has been fun.
Oh my god!
I say, what got you guys? You want to go talk? You seem like this is he's bothering you a little bit.
I'm loving it.
You better get used to.
He's fine.
I think he's gonna be traveling with this guy, so he's.
I just remembered. Beatrice said that the supper tonight is spaghetti and meat sauce. So.
Oh,
Origin perks up.
I mean,
Go get some Taco Bell.
That's right.
Personally, I don't have blood, so I don't see the
Yes, that's
appeal.
right.
But
Yeah, that brings me another idea, and I'll talk to you about.
I
it
have
later.
everything that you don't.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
No. Yeah, him and Garrick are
Yeah.
we're blood light.
Well, yeah. Half the calories.
Oh,
See, Jeff's not the only one that can do it.
That's right. Well, we may have to talk a little bit about a union between you guys because that could be really interesting. But anyway,
imagine if they like Power Rangers like Megamorph together. Like that would.
Yeah, make a Megazord.
Yeah.
Our powers combined, we make human.
A human.
We make Steve.
Suddenly, Charlatan's alive.
Steve, come play D&D with us.
Yeah.
So, what's up, guys? Did you want to talk? You said you're
You
talking
mean
about
besides
dinner,
the war crime, you're passing off as children?
Honestly, I'm surprised Lady Janelle even lets this orphanage open.
I haven't shown her yet, so
Good.
maybe we'll.
Well,
I mean,
well,
I'm kind of building up to that
I
conversation.
heard
you know.
she's open Thursday night.
Oh, really?
so far. And like, you see Elias give Harlan a wink.
but that time slot might be taken later. I don't know.
Go to her.
I'm still undecided.
Hey, if you want a friend, Origin's available. Might liven up the evening, but anyway.
They might need a chaperone.
Yeah, think about it. If we put Origin and you and her in the same room, she's gonna just fall head over heels over you. Probably because she fainted out of shock.
Yeah. Well, how's Kara doing anyway, Turpin?
She's doing great. We're spending a lot of time together. Taught her some commands and some words. I don't have to, burn spell slots near as much as anymore. So
that's good.
Well, that's
good.
That's helpful.
She's doing great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm anxious
House
to think.
trained now, so that's a good thing too. So
That makes all the difference.
all the difference in the world.
After
Guys, Drangolin poop is real nasty.
It's like they're like as big as me.
His pooper scooper is a snow shovel.
Yeah.
And thanks for teaching her not to dig the random holes in the garden because that took me like half an hour to climb out. That was and
there was
I
a
couldn't
learning curve.
But she did dig the stream out for us, and that was really nice.
If we ever desire to bunker,
Yes, we've
done that. Yeah,
Quick work.
Yeah.
great.
So we found good ways to make her handy. So
Well, we may want to show her origin eventually too, just so she doesn't freak out. But anyway, that's a different issue.
So outside of the elemental,
Yes.
This is just an idea I've had in the back of my head. Everybody, as we're trying to rebuild the city a little bit, there's this giant big tower over there, right? That's just not being used by anything or anyone anymore. So I don't know if we could actually do this or not, but I thought I would run it by you guys. But we're trying to find ways to bring new trade in, so I thought about maybe if we could turn the tower into a trading and docking port for airships.
That's interesting because that's actually inside the administrative substructure of the.
Yeah.
Because but technically this is under Lady Janelle's.
Yeah, so the city already
part of the
owns
Castle
it.
Dusk
Castle
complex.
Dusk, right.
And it's not being utilized. And if we could pitch and find a way, because we're going to need a place for our airship to dock at some point, and
a trading house. Yes.
If we could leverage that tower that's already built instead of building a completely different tower, and I have just the vision of a great lighthouse at the top, a beacon of the way the city has recovered.
The hardest part is in the
Bringing in-
lower city. It's in the lower city.
Well,
right.
but
So
But it's up in the air, so it's
it'd be
it makes a
tall.
great
not that
port
much of a
up
problem
there,
for,
you know.
for an airship.
Could be
Yeah.
It's a
expanded.
port. It's a
Could
port
be
in the air.
expanded. We
It's,
could, potentially we could have the lower port and the high
Mhm.
port. We could do a
Yep.
second tower somewhere. It's
No, I
been
thi-
in my head as
No.
as
as,
I
as,
feel
that
like
would-
Kywind,
That would
Kywind-
change. That would change the Sakaean League
Yeah,
of cities.
now I also have it. I have access in my studies, but there's a spell that creates essentially an immovable object. We could actually
that's
have
just
a-
Balder.
Is it?
It
Yeah,
summons
well,
Balder. That's what
Well,
it does.
this one could actually
missed
be
that
in
big guy.
midair, and we could actually, we could actually dock to it above the ground, which I find fascinating because it would give us that way we wouldn't have to worry about.
Oh,
I mean, we could have
like
it in
a Sky
association with the.
Fortress?
Yes, we could have it in association with the tower, but I'm saying it gives us something to. I think that's a really interesting idea. And I thought the same thing.
well-
How are we gonna have a docking station? Do we make this the public docking station, or is this just for administrative purposes, or is this the
It's just-
prototype?
Yeah.
For
I'm just wondering how we get from the floating platform down to the ground.
Yeah,
right,
More than once, you know.
exactly. We have to build some
that's
kind of
why
structure, right, a
I
slide.
thought of the tower because like it has stairs that go down,
right.
Yeah, I like the tower idea.
and it would be like inside, and I wouldn't have to look down.
Well, the tower needs so much regenerating. Now, one of the
The
issues we may
city-
have with it is the diplomatic implications for this, because usually this tower was used to house, the
Yeah.
Arcanum ambassadors. And
well, hey, they left us.
I
so,
agree. I
you
agree.
know,
And there's no
that was their
reason.
decision.
There's no reason why she's not compelled to open it to others. The lady, or the
Yeah.
city. So
We're just trying to find ways to bring economic prosperity back in
Right.
to the
Absolutely.
city, and if we could on this continent make Kywind a center for airship trade.
well, we've got one so far, and
Yeah,
it should be ready in about 8 months, I think.
Oh, well,
wow.
I mean-
depends on, right?
means we could start having the city renovate
Now-
the tower, and then maybe they're both ready around the same time.
Now, Brendan, is the team already going here?
Yeah.
Okay. And
They
now
are.
I don't know if you guys have been down there. Have you met Weasel yet?
I haven't.
Weasel.
Weasel.
Is-
Yes.
A weasel, or his
Sure.
name is Weasel?
No, his real name is Paltrow Fiddlefix, but
So he's a weasel named Paltrow.
he is a gnome
Oh,
Oh,
named Weasel.
wait, it's not like
That's his
Sam Mitchell,
nicknames.
is it, where he's like half weasel, half gnome? Because I just stopped having the nightmares.
That's a nozzle. A nozzle.
It's called a Neasel.
a Neasel. There you go. Yes, that's
Neasel.
right. Yeah, those actually exist.
Gneasel.
Yeah.
The
Diesel.
G silent.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel.
Not anymore.
Oh, Vin Diesel come play D&D. I don't
He
know.
won't after that
All the
joke.
names tonight.
Oh,
So
Eventually, one day, somebody will come and play D&D with us, and it'll be funny.
yeah.
drop
other,
enough names,
other than our
usually somebody
friends.
will.
Right.
Yeah.
So
We
we need.
love you all
If you
too.
want to go down, we
Yeah,
want. If you want to go see all this, I don't know how last time you guys have been all so busy. I've been so busy going down and seeing what his team he's assembled,
Yeah.
and we
I
can
mean,
because
if
it's
that's
yeah. I mean, it's I try to. I'm breaking up my time, and I'm sorry I haven't seen you guys as much as I
well,
want
Yeah.
to. It's just
this
been
is
a
like the
lot.
first time that we've all actually
I know.
kind of really
I know.
been
It has
together
been some
in a while.
time, yes.
It's been a bit.
You guys have been busy
Oh,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know sending is not the same as face to face. So
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate your 6 a.m. sending messages every
Yeah.
morning. It's
Yeah.
great.
I'm
Yeah,
fine with it. But
yeah,
I don't
yeah, I
sleep
know
through it.
that's true. Charlton never has a problem with it. So I don't know what you're
Yeah.
complaining about, but no, I'm kidding.
I mean,
I'm kidding. I
yeah.
forget. I get up. I go to if I start resting at midnight, I'm done by 4. So I'm like, I'm up. You're not up.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah.
Miss Penelope, please make with all haste back to Inode. Your presence is required to continue research in the tower. Please release Miss Amelie and Mr. Kiyoshi back to their respective campuses as, and then it is unreadable due to the bloodstains there. The city in flames is how it ends. It is then signed, Autumn Gale, Glamour, 2nd Echelon.
Autumn Gale. Does that sound like an exotic dancer's name to anyone else?
I mean,
No, it's a rank.
Autumn
Ranked
Gale.
person, I should say. 2nd echelon is a ranking in the
Glamour
Arcanum.
would indicate that she is a quite capable Inodian.
yeah.
There are only 3 glamours in all of the Inodian structure, and she is the 2nd echelon.
Are there any other markings or writings on the map other than that hidden message?
Yes, there are. Below it, you are able to find a set of coordinates. You're not exactly sure what they denote, but then there is a heading. And that heading is west by southwest. Lastly, there is a symbol on the map. A symbol that neither Timaeus nor Charlatan recognize, but Cal absolutely recognizes.
Oh boy.
It is the symbol of the exonerated.
Oh.
Cal, you look rather put out.
Yeah. That means that there are some very powerful people involved in this. Some of the exonerated.
Cal, you know them better than I. Can you tell us about him?
Yes, I can.
Will you?
Sure.
Elsewhere.
Oh, yes, there you go. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I see. Okay.
Mother, may I?
I'm sorry, may I tell
So, the presence of that symbol on the map likely indicates that a group of exonerated were dispatched to deal with the problem that they did not want to be made public. The exonerated are below any scale in terms of proper ranks. And the way that one becomes an exonerated is first to be mercurial, and then caught by the scales and tortured or coerced to the point of becoming a turncoat and joining the scales as a traitor to what the mercurial order is all about. So they are considered to be indentured servants that are paying off their mercurial debt, which many choose up front to turn when they're caught, or after the torture begins due to the pain and threat of family. And they are usually kept in service until retirement, which is death, and are treated better once they choose to become exonerated. But, that's simply just better in terms of being tortured and killed outright or imprisoned. So it's not a good life. But these are the bounty hunters, the secret bounty hunters of the scales to go after persons of interest.
So really,
mercurials.
What's happening here is they're aware of something happening, and they don't want to be very public about how they're going to try and handle it.
Well, we can already determine what they were aware of, but Timaeus, this last line about letting the city burn, that would seem to indicate that the Arcanum knew about the murder of Woes. At what point we're not sure, but instead of warning Kywind or stepping in the way of it, they were more than willing to let it happen.
It's not, history is rhyming, is it not? Where we came from, this is unbelievable that they would let this happen without, and yet we've seen indications. I mean, remember, there were pretty powerful magics involved in hiding the location.
Yes.
And that we found. So I think it was more than
when
something happened, and it just went way beyond what they thought, I think.
What was the timing of the tower being abandoned exactly?
It was within the first 5 days of the uprising.
Yeah.
We saw them leave.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember seeing them leave. I don't remember if it was
The timing, yeah.
Yeah.
It was before you left the walls.
Yeah, it was like right before, or not right before, but like the day before.
It was actually the same day that you had, I think it's the same day that you fought
Oh, the
Took
Dawn
out
Bishop.
Derelict Star.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the same day.
Yeah, we had come back from that because we had flown down off the top with chocobos or not
Right.
chocobos.
And I
Chumas.
ironically think that the building
Final
the,
Fantasy, please do not sue us.
the
No,
city
sorry.
truly was on
Fair
fire
use.
that day.
Cloud Strife complete
So-
D&D with us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he shows up, that would be incredible.
Well, that means that Sephiroth is coming.
Oh no.
Maybe Tifa.
Hey, careful.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
You don't want to get me going.
All right.
That's my junior high school crush
So-
you're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, I find it very possible that, I mean, potentially even there were ties.
Oh, no question. I agree.
Yes,
So-
but to what end?
South by Southwest, the layer of the mantis, was that or west by southwest is what you said.
West by southwest, yeah.
It was that the direction of
Charlatan
the
would
layer?
remember.
So from
The city?
no, you
Okay.
guys went north by northeast.
Right.
Okay,
Which
so the
direction
opposite
is
direction.
Inode?
Inode would be northeast,
Yeah.
a lot further along.
So going from Inode to Kywind would be
It would
west
be
by south.
southwest or west by southwest along that direction.
So both
But
options.
But the coordinates are are off. Where are they in comparison to Kywind? Where are they?
So if you were to go into this would be actually pretty easy to do, to go into the records
Right.
chamber in Castle Dusk and look up how they coordinate this area. The coordinates are themselves Inode.
They
on the
are
deal.
Inode.
So is those coordinates and then south by,
Which
then
is
west by
Kywind.
southwest.
And then the trajectory is west by southwest.
Which is Kywind.
It would be heading in the way of Kywind, yes.
as the crow flies. Yeah.
So
And that's also where the Aqueduct Road travels along.
Sorry. Oh, the
Right.
record
Oh,
room is so dusty.
yes, don't you love it?
Yeah.
I love
Aqueduct
like
Road
I
goes
like
right
not
along
breathing.
the aqueduct.
Yes,
Here's a lot of things.
and this is one of the great vulnerabilities of Kywind, I think, is our dependence on the water
In
from
isolation.
from Inode, that area.
Yeah.
And that
Another
it's the city
reason-
controls it. Yeah, does it not? Does Inode control it, or is it south of Inode?
The aqueduct itself comes from Inode,
Right.
and what you learn also while you're there in the record room is the alliance. It's called the Alliance Aqueduct,
Mhm.
which was the name given to it by the Fairchild Treaty of 464,
I wonder.
Child.
which was 140 years ago.
I wonder. Which came first, the chicken or the egg?
Bless you, Cal.
Yeah, poor guy.
Is
Sorry,
Kywind
my allergies.
but he specifically looks to Timaeus when he says
Mhm.
this. Is it that Kywind is dependent on Inode for water because it has none? Or does Kywind not have water because of its dependence on Inode?
Very good question.
Is that the chicken and the egg thing?
Yes,
That's exactly what I
Oh,
just
okay,
it's a
okay,
very good question.
yeah. Just making sure I followed.
I think a visit to speak with the city planning office might prove some fruit in that regard.
But it is I'm not sure what about this landscape in Kywind would cause them to build a city here, because we're not near any major waterways.
And usually without
the
the,
mine-
The city,
availability
the
of water,
city,
no
the
city would
city
be built.
existed before the arrival of the tribes that would eventually separate Seikei and create the Sakaean League. Kywind is old. It is an old city that had to wall up and was able to do so before the tribes could invade and sack the city. So it's been a standing testament to human ingenuity for a long time. And they existed long before the Fairchild Treaty of 464. So at some point, they had a means of getting water.
Might be something worth investigating.
Yeah, for the long-term health of the city,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We could sever that dependence on Inode. That would certainly put us in a
Better situation.
better situation and potentially a better place to negotiate from with the city itself.
Yeah,
No.
and you know,
And Turpin,
all
you.
this. Sure, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Turpin. You have some interest in Inode. We've talked a little bit about.
Well, I was going to say, you guys are probably surrounded around the little map thingy. Whenever you guys kind of turn, Turpin's looking at Arlen and saying, what you really need to do is you need to cook her some food. You need the way to a woman's heart is through her stomach. I tell you why. It's because my mom always said that my dad got her attention by baking her some sourdough bread from the hard foot, the special grains and stuff like that. So what you really need to do is cook her some food, find something you're good at cooking.
I don't mean to interrupt.
Sorry, fellas. Yeah, I was just trying to give Arlen some good advice since nobody else is with the lady steward, But,
Thank you, Dr.
sorry.
Ruth.
Yes, of course. Who's that?
Are you a charlatan right now?
Am I sure? I'm
Yeah,
Elias.
you like, oh boy, don't let Elias talk to him. Okay. Anyway. About
sorry,
that. Anyway.
Tobias, you were saying something.
So I was saying that you had talked about Inode and your desire and I tried. We did talk, and I talked about how dangerous Inode is.
Yes.
And I don't know if you've seen this map, and
I've not. What does all of this mean? Like, is Inode like a dangerous? Like, when you say it's a dangerous place, all I can think is my family's been there for a couple of years now.
It's an Arcanum stronghold.
Be like the worst place in the world for me to go.
Don't worry, Turpin. We're going. I promised you, and I intend to keep.
I know, and I appreciate that. I'm just, what are we gonna find when we get there? It's kind of.
Yeah, I have not been there myself, but its enchantment is the core of the Inodians, correct?
Yes.
Right. So, enchantment means charms. It's all about control.
Okay.
It is a place. It is, yeah. It's where those who desire to control. Yeah, that's right. Who desire control with the egos of a wizard, and the manipulated. Yes, all Val was part of. They have a great deal of resources, and it's just not a place it's easy to go into without being noticed.
Mm.
So I'm thinking that if we go in, you can, your concerns are your family, right? That they've been there.
Right.
And do you have a pinpoint of how long they've been there?
It's been about 2.5 years now, I believe, since they left.
I'm thinking.
Kywind.
Okay.
I'm thinking that if we were to go there under the auspices of some sort of diplomatic mission on behalf of Kywind, that might grease the wheels a bit, or at least get us to the city in a safer fashion.
Surely they've heard of us by now. I mean,
yeah, there's certainly agents probably still within the city of a lesser significance, perhaps just informants they paid in the past. I don't think there's any real Inodians here, but it's possible. Who knows? I mean, we've calmed down those last few months, and who knows who's here now.
I think I might have an idea regarding that. Give me the evening, and I might be able to share more later on tonight. And he doubles over a little bit again. And go,
And of course, Tobias, what's going on?
Oh,
we're just not here. You're fine.
He immediately goes over to you. I mean,
oh no, I'm fine.
Insight check.
Yeah. Exactly. Can we
Well,
get a
go
hint
ahead.
of what he's hinting at?
His stomach hurts.
Besides, yeah, he's undead. That kind of
I ate someone that didn't agree with me.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Haven't let Sebastian out in a while, have you?
Oh gosh.
I think in
Imagine
this.
having that guy in your head all the time.
Well, my question is now: is this something that only Elias is experiencing, or is this something that Charlatan also is experiencing?
Are you asking that?
Yes.
It's really nothing. I was trying to keep it under wraps, but
Yeah.
it's something that Charlatan is experiencing. It's something of my own doing. I'm not worried about it. If you insist on knowing, I'll show you, but
Okay. Yeah.
Joe?
well, it's just that you reacted so poorly to the blood elemental thing, and I don't want to scare any of you
I
unnecessarily.
mean, it's not as
Something
much
that-
scare as just frightening for kids
Okay.
and full-grown paladins.
All right. Well,
Did you try to carve out another container for your stomach or something?
Oh, body hurt.
I was kidding, and you're not laughing.
listen. He looks around. Are we in kind of a secure location? Brendan?
Origin is reaching the climax of a story in which he's shapeshifted his body into two different parts to be smaller, but still kind of tell the story. And it's a dragon and a knight, and they're fighting each other. And the kids are engrossed, like, "Ooh, ah!"
Okay. Well, while their attention is clearly off, he says, "Okay, but just don't make a big deal out of it. All right."
I feel like I'm gonna make it.
Okay. One moment. I'm still getting used to this part. Hold on.
Oh, no.
If you mama bird me, I'm going to freak.
And then he opens his mouth,
Oh no.
and
The
you
orb
see
of
something at the
Osavox.
back of his
No, sorry.
of his throat
Different.
start to move,
Oh no.
and flowing out of his mouth is a iridescently black viper that coils out of his mouth, that goes around his shoulder and curls around his arm. The snake, I mean, it's like this long, and it's got these iridescent black scales, almost opalescent, and these brilliantly bright blue slitted irises. And it darts its tongue out, smelling the air as it flows out of his mouth and in and around his arm. And he says,
You kept that in you?
"Gentlemen, meet Opal."
Opal.
Opal.
A new pet?
She is my familiar.
Did you take Tom Riddle as like your fifth?
Yes.
I thought about it, and that she's really, it's best served when she can't be seen. And I mean,
Of all the familiars you could have taken.
Well, look,
what
there's
was
worse
much-
places. There's worse places to put her. I will say.
I'm much more comfortable.
She
with
didn't have
just
to come out of my mouth.
I'm saying I'm much more comfortable with just having a snake around than watching it come out of you.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
this way it's more clandestine.
Oh,
dramatic.
my
It's
word.
I mean,
Fantastic.
the
I'm not sure that word means
listen,
what you
I've
think.
had
it
her for a
does.
little bit now.
Yeah.
It keeps
I've had
it
her for a little bit now.
dramatic.
This is the
I said
easiest way to
drum-
hide her. It's just the keeping her inside of me while perfectly fine and not horrible.
Opal, what do you think about being kept inside of him?
She doesn't talk. I mean, you could try to talk to her, but
It was a good shot, you know.
but she just
Opal?
looks at you and she just looks at you.
Well, she's beautiful.
How's it smell in there? That might be why.
But
Oh gosh!
might be
Remember
why
that
she
time-
wants
doesn't
out
seem
there
to
once in a
mind it.
while.
Remember that
Um,
time he tried some human food? That's probably still in there.
yeah,
Well,
well,
that was
probably.
actually practice for getting her to go. Never mind.
oh boy.
Oh.
Oh,
Now, since
I
when do
don't
you
want to think about this anymore. I don't want to think about.
There was a
Tom
dead
Riddle
man
eyes.
who swallowed a rat.
Right,
No,
right.
what? Since when do you have a familiar? And
It's
how-
new.
Yeah, but usually
What's a
familiars
familiar?
are not with.
I don't
with
have enough money to
clerics.
pay
Usually
my
don't
therapist.
have familiars.
Well, I could see Turpin. I'm not only able to mentally command this animal, and she will obey, but I am also able to see through her, and she is a gift from our new friends,
Oh boy,
New friends.
the ones
Down-
that
down under.
protected.
Oh, yes. Okay. I remember now. Yes.
Our
And I mean,
Australian
it's
friends.
like-
No.
You don't just. I mean, I know I could turn her into the things, but it's just this seemed the most.
A snake that lives.
I don't have to explain myself.
Easiest
to
thing
you.
to
This is
swallow.
my. This is,
I freaking love it, Jared. I love it. Don't ever change.
That's amazing. That's
I don't
Oh
have-
wow! See,
it's just, I'm still getting used to when she's moving around.
clearly. Yeah.
I just.
you guys give
don't-
me crap about Origin. Come on.
Yeah, honestly, Origin looks great.
It's
See?
just a snake.
I knew it'd grow on you.
Yeah,
So to speak.
she, which is fine. Snake is fine. Snake coming out of mouth, not fine.
Listen,
Don't.
the next time we're in
usually see
prison
that.
somewhere and they take our weapons after they searched us, you're gonna thank me.
I'll just blast the door open.
I mean, I suppose you could do that.
That's besides the point.
It'll still look really cool. So yeah. No, I dig it. It's got it makes
Oh,
Elias
but
look.
Turpin, I do have to say I can see through her eyes, but if I don't recommend doing that while she's
Oh,
beside me.
Well, yeah. I'm glad you're the only one that can do that.
It didn't go well.
Have you ever considered leasing her out so we could put her inside someone else?
what?
I-
No.
No, I was thinking for
Do I hear any
surgery.
volunteers?
I was thinking for
No,
surgery.
no,
I wasn't. That's all
no,
I was thinking. But
no,
she's too big for that.
no.
Never mind.
Wow.
Stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
No,
she's
fascinating
actually.
idea. I think that's
We could use her for various endoscopic
You know, it's
procedures.
not often that I do this, but as commander of Phoenix Company, I'm saying we stop that train of thought right now.
Okay, all right. I'm going to turn around so the kids don't see me do this. And then
You're gonna have some of the kids go,
Oh.
"Wow, do that again."
yeah.
Yeah, right.
You see the
kids will
snake?
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like halfway through, there's a kid that says, "Wow, he's putting
Yeah.
a snake in his mouth."
Yeah.
You've heard of sword swallow.
That's
haven't you?
unsanitary.
that still makes the eyes water.
Yes. Yeah.
I
Or
promise.
just like, why are they screaming again? And he looks to think, oh,
I'm just thinking I don't keep anything else in there. So
You're right.
Julie Lynn
That's
goes, I quit.
great, thanks, guys.
Yeah. So, like, if you get slashed across the midsection, will she just like fall out?
exactly, and then she bites.
Rah!
You're like a weird like Orochimaru. Like,
Open the prize.
You guys are
goes,
just.
I'm gonna spill your innards.
yeah, this is the worst Kinder Egg I've ever had.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
You guys are just
Gifts that
copying
keep on
my
giving.
thing.
We are
I
not
mean,
sponsored by Kinder Egg
Or Naruto.
Please.
or
You're right.
Naruto.
Or Naruto.
Yeah.
Turpin starts carrying a friend around, and then everybody else has to too. So I guess
don't-
fine.
Howie
trendsetter.
just
Give it some time, Cal.
Howie
Give it some
just
time.
hangs out by me.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
Cal definitely.
Although
doesn't bring
you do
anybody
have a
with him.
sword that connects you to an immortal being, so
yeah, but like that happened before me. You know,
that's true.
that's not my fault.
Sorry.
Anyway,
Touche,
as I
touche.
was saying, give me the evening.
I didn't choose to
Just-
eat a sword and then just regurgitate it all the time. That happens at level 5.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you would rather me have a snake inside of
Nice.
me non-voluntarily?
I just don't. We're done. All right, cool. Yeah, the cool party trick. Don't ever do it again.
I don't mind if
He'll
you
be
do it. I thought
back.
it was
You
cool.
wait.
I thought it was
Guys, the funny part is he can just choose to like vamp it in and out of
I
existence
know.
because it's a familiar. He
I know.
chooses to swallow it
This is just wrong.
and regurgitate it, which is totally awesome. Okay,
Turpin
Like
doesn't
this.
know that.
Well, but you're right, Turpin. We've got a theme going on here. We've got
Yeah.
people that we carry around with us, and this is kind of creepy.
Arlen, do you got anybody?
Arlen,
keep
hear me
around
out.
with you?
Hear me out. Intestinal
Don't.
lizard.
You can you can stay on my side of this insanity fence.
tapeworm.
I'm quite comfortable
Yeah,
by
tapeworm,
myself.
yeah.
Thank you.
You lose weight
Yeah.
and
Wait, no,
Hold on a second, guys. I got a plan.
I plan on leaving. I plan on leaving Harduk in his story. He doesn't get to ride with me
Could
anymore.
you imagine? But you're smaller than Harduk, so how would that work if he was in you?
like a papoose.
Oh, I love
I-
where this conversation went.
This is what happens when Brendan gives me an option with very little guidance.
Yeah.
Crawls
It should have been a spider. Should have been a spider. That'd have been.
out of his nose.
Yeah.
Goes into his ear.
Gosh. If
It
was
comes
a
down on a web and
spider-
you-
Yeah.
from Hercules, yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
let me check something out.
If
might
it was
have
a spider,
solution
my
for
best
us.
friend would immediately stop watching the show. So, Snake, fine. Shout out to mid team.
sounds
Wow.
sounds great, Elias. Appreciate your efforts.
No problem.
Okay.
But on the topic of Inode, like how soon are we talking heading that direction?
Well, I
yeah.
think we should probably sooner rather than later. If
I would
the
prefer
longer
that.
your family issues aside, Turpin, the longer that the Arcanum is potentially a threat to Kywind and to just peace within the region in general, the more the threat grows. So
Yeah. The only thing I'm worried about is, we've had 3 months of relative peace. If we approach Inode, so far the scales have left me alone.
That's true.
I'm not
we
sure.
don't necessarily want to put you in danger, Cal.
Yeah, I know, but
Well,
for Turpin's family, it's probably worth it.
We got your back, Cal.
we
know.
can look at the map. The map does give us some guidance of the city.
Yeah, I mean,
And
yeah,
how
I
to
just
approach
don't have
this.
any idea where to look.
Well,
I mean,
we just
I
want to
have
go
a
into
map
the
of
city.
Inode too. It's
We-
over here.
Okay, well, maybe going in without making it public. I don't think we want to go in to me as ambassadors of the
I
city.
don't want any extra. I mean, maybe one or two of us, and then maybe I would not be a part of any official delegation, or I would like
Yeah.
to not be a part of any official delegation. I don't want any extra spotlight on me, mostly because it endangers you.
Well, I understand that. Now, my question is: now, is it known that I'm alive?
At this point,
It's a good
with
question.
3
Are we
months,
Are we using Tomias's real name, or is he known as Chilburn,
I mean,
publicly speaking?
No, we're just Tomas now. Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't know.
publicly, at this point, we have to assume. I mean, knowing what I know about the inner working of the scales, they probably know.
Okay.
Well, then I have
I-
my other issue too. I haven't officially checked in, so
Yeah, well,
and that's could
I mean,
be
I was a part of a very public revolution,
okay.
kind of stabilization.
Well,
Um,
my question is: am I classified as mercurial now? And then you'll have to take me down,
Well,
Cal.
well, I mean,
I
I'm
don't-
right there with you, buddy. So, I mean, we could have a great life as an exonerated.
Well, yeah, right. But this is another issue we're going to have to talk about. Do I declare myself as part of the Arcanum again, and then
Work from the inside.
work from the inside, and it doesn't
How
sound like
would I mean? I don't know how you would get around explaining your close working relationship with me. I'm not
Well,
exactly hiding
right.
anymore.
that
Are we
is a-
certain that they will recognize you immediately, Cal? Is it possible that you could go undetected?
It's possible.
He has
But-
cut his hair.
Yep.
or let it grow.
You know, everyone knows that when you go and get your ears lowered, no one can ever recognize you anymore.
That's right.
You get
that
your
and a
That's
set of
how I
glasses.
remained
Yeah,
hidden
your
for a very
glasses,
long time.
right?
It's not necessarily my direct appearance that they might recognize,
Hmm.
but the giant weapon I carry on my back,
Oh, that's interesting.
as it is an artifact that we were specifically sent to pursue in obtain for the order.
They don't have to see that.
If memory serves, wasn't it a bit smaller at one point?
Yeah, I mean, Tomias, you can speak more on this, but magical items tend to have a certain kind of presence and like magical identification number and stuff that people of the magical affinity might be able to just kind of understand that they might be the same item.
Not if it was in a pocket dimension like your bag.
It's true.
Sure.
Their aura can be read. There are some unique features of magical auras that perhaps would give it away, but and we would not go into the city without being scanned. That's what's so interesting.
Yeah, Inode is well known for, exactly as you said, their control.
However, if we were to arrive under diplomatic license, you might be surprised how lax security might become.
Well, if we did it from diplomatic license from the city and not the Arcanum.
That's what I'm suggesting.
Mm-hmm.
If we are the representatives of Kywind.
We should speak to Lady Janelle about this. I hear she has a slot open on Thursday.
Yeah, we definitely.
I heard she was busy.
No.
Well,
she's been, I think, dealing with this new election that's coming up.
yeah.
Actually, why don't we go talk to the fair lady now? I have a question or two I would like to ask her about this.
Oh. Okay.
At the very least, maybe get some guidance, because we definitely want to try and visit Inode to try and find Turpin's family.
Perhaps she's been there before.
Or at least she might have some insight on maybe how we might be able to enter without necessarily a lot of pomp and circumstance, or have maybe diplomatic immunity.
Well, she certainly must have some contact with them, so she could give us some guidance.
Yeah.
I was going to go down to the airship, but we can do that later if you guys want to.
Well, the airship is outside of the city.
That's what I mean. I was going to.
That's like a day's travel.
Yeah.
So I need to get out there again.
Well,
it's like a day.
It's along the way to Inode.
Yeah. It is.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So,
well, I'm anxious to see what they've done.
Let's go.
West by southwest. Is kind of a long. I still think potentially that base was the way marker that they might have been trying to mention. So
maybe.
Maybe.
All right, to the castle.
Janelle? Yeah.
There is, I do want to bring up one other thing that we have not yet touched in the time jump. You did have the corpse of Andric Kane and the ability to speak
and
with
we
dead.
did say we were going to do that, yeah.
So we can talk about that real quick if you wish.
Sure.
That is true.
And the approach we take, how many questions is it? 5?
Well, let's look it up.
5.
It's 5.
The approach you take, is it deceptive or is it more direct? I mean, when you consider what he pulled off, maybe he wants to tell a story.
He definitely.
So I think one question would be,
what's it like being dead?
Yeah, what's it like? What's the devil like?
How'd you like getting nuked by an angel?
Yeah.
A little smack talk questioning.
That was an old TV show, Nuked by an Angel? No. I don't know.
Close. By an angel.
Close. Close.
It was a Cold War.
That was the spin-off.
Yeah, that's right.
The Cold War.
With stars in his eyes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Everything I've done for Mother Russia.
I have a question. If we're going to do this, can I combine spells here?
Depends on which spells you're combining.
Like if I combined Speak with Dead with Zone of Truth.
They're both concentration, aren't they?
One sec.
Good question.
Do I have a spell list? I don't think I do.
Let me see.
Oh, I'm not a high enough level paladin.
So Zone of Truth is not a concentration spell.
I don't think Speak with Dead is either. Is it?
Speak with Dead is...
This is the last 10 minutes.
No.
Not a concentration spell.
So, yeah.
It only lasts 10 minutes.
And Zone of Truth
lasts 1 minute.
1 minute.
So you could do Speak with Dead and then cast Zone of Truth.
Yeah.
multiple times as needed. What level is Nona Truth?
How does the corpse
I could only
fare
guess
versus saving throw against Zone of Truth?
It says a creature, not an object, but a creature. The body becomes an object upon death.
You're right. You're right. Can't combine them.
See, obviously, charlatan. Whenever.
Wait a minute. Am I an object?
Only in my eyes, Charlie.
For legal reasons,
Are you
no.
objectifying me?
For anecdotal reasons,
yes.
Okay, so I think the first. I should probably write these down.
Craig Ferguson, come play D&D with us.
Oh, I would lose it if that happened. I would be super into it if that happened. All right. Let's think about these questions. We get 5. I'm thinking the first one should be, was the Arcanum involved in your plans?
For Fall of Kywind.
Or did they contribute, or did they help fund you?
Involved or contribute to the rebellion?
Involved.
Do there have to be yes/no questions?
No.
How was? Do we assume it or how? Just say how was the Arcanum?
Ooh,
Yeah, we could. Yeah, how was?
I like that.
Or how involved or
How
is it-
was-
or yeah.
How were you and the Arcanum involved together?
Yeah.
Or yeah.
To support your rebellion.
I
Yeah.
did not have relations with the Arcanum.
Insight check.
Zing!
Yeah, it'd be hilarious if we asked that question and it'd be hilarious if we asked that question and his response was, "It depends on what is means."
No,
Uh,
how was it kind of evolved? Okay.
And then my next question would be, "Are you stupid?"
Okay, so we got the essence
Don't
of
answer
that.
that.
So how was? How do we want to phrase that? How was the Arcanum involved in your rebellion?
Your rebellion. Yeah, I think that's general enough that he'll know what
Yeah.
it means.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would it be fair to ask something along the lines of, did you have any plans for Inode and Kywind's relationship after the fall?
Are we focusing on Inode directly? I mean, is that because of what we've learned? I mean,
Well, we already knew what he was trying to do. What we don't know is why. And we also
No.
kind of know why he was trying to do it. Or at least what he told us. What we
But
don't
we don't know his
his
greater
plans
plans.
were after.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. That's kind of where.
What
Because
was?
if
What were
we-
the? If you had succeeded?
what
What would
was the
have
plan?
been-
The power structure, huh?
Yeah. What would have been your next move?
Yeah. Interesting.
My first move would not to have had my head chopped off by
Right, yeah.
an angry paladin.
What would Inode's role be in rebuilding Kywind, if any?
Did you have? How about this? Did your group have any connection to Inode?
There you go.
But we can't be yes/no question because you can just say yes, no, and that's
Yeah.
it. So maybe,
Yeah.
What connection?
yeah. What connection did you have to Inode and Arcanum and Inode?
What connection did your group have?
Yeah. So it would be 2 questions. One specifically for the Arcanum, and then another one specifically for Inode to see, because he might not have had necessarily direct connections with the Arcanum, but he might have had connections with Inode.
Yeah.
Well, what are the mysteries left? I mean, we have of concerning him.
It's been like 5 months. I can't remember.
I know. Well, yeah. We understand what his
Does
his
having your head
intended-
chopped off hurt?
Yeah, right. We know he's intended.
And then
supposedly
don't-
was for the good, but
Yeah, and then don't ask the 5th question, and then he just stays there
That's
forever.
right. We saw that.
Till the 10 minutes end.
Oh,
Yeah.
shh.
Guys, hello.
Hello?
That was classic. That was really funny.
What about
that was funny.
Are we certain that he didn't have some kind? I mean, we're kind of touching on the Arcanum being this thing, but we could ask him. Like, did he have like some kind of sponsor or?
Well, he had the whole.
Oh, did he
council.
have a benefactor?
Well, we had all the whole council that we
Pretty
know
much.
on all these people. That was his power structure,
Yeah.
right? All the ones we took
How
down.
about this?
Did you
what
have
are the names?
Yeah.
of all the
Who
people
was
involved.
your external backers?
Yeah.
And even if he
names
names people we already know, then we're good.
of your
Reds.
of
Yeah.
your
Who?
patrons.
Yeah. Who were your external to Kywind patrons?
Yeah.
Oh, you want external instead of the
well,
ones we know
Who
about.
were, who were
because
the
if-
patrons?
If we just say patrons, you could just list the council.
Well, here,
Is
'cause
this
we
whole-
have more questions. So let's ask this one first. Who are the patrons of your rebellion?
Is this whole conversation in character, or is this just us discussing the questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Either way.
Well, don't forget, guys. This fellow was an idealist.
Yeah.
I mean, he was the impression I got anyway was that
Did
He
you
really-
have
Go
what assistance? How about this? What assistance did you receive from outside of Kywind?
Guys,
I
I'll be
like
right
that.
back. You work on the last question. I'll be right back. Sorry.
Okay. All right. So these are the 5 we have. How was the Arcanum involved in your rebellion? If you had succeeded, what would have been your next move? What did your group have? What connection did your group have to Inode? Or what was the? Did your?
that's fine.
Yeah, which needs to be phrased maybe a little bit better. Who were the patrons of your rebellion? What assistance did you receive? Did your rebellion receive from outside Kywind?
Those are pretty good. I just feel like we might already know
We know some of them.
the
might-
answer to the after he succeeded. I mean, like he was gonna
Do we?
reveal himself.
Yeah, he was going to reveal himself. We really don't know what
I
his
mean-
grander scheme was outside of toppling the current structure.
Yeah,
Right, restructuring Kywind.
we didn't really know what Kywind was supposed to look like after he had won.
That's fair.
I mean, if you have another question you want to ask,
No,
Yeah.
I just no, I don't really have anything else that I
Yeah.
had in mind. I don't know. It's fine. This will be really interesting. I've never seen this done before.
you seem like you're having an issue. Do you want to talk about it?
No, this
You
I.
have- You're having some big feelings right now. So
Do you want to see me do the snake thing again?
it might
No.
might jug my memory and get the creative juices going again.
I'm
Opal's
just
very
making-
very beautiful. She's a great looking snake.
yeah,
Um,
I just want to make sure that if there's something that you specifically want to
No,
ask,
no, I
that
didn't.
we're
I
not
don't have
excluded.
any.
Okay.
I don't have anything in mind. I appreciate you asking, but I suppose that'll hit all the
Yeah,
bases.
You know, I'm only throwing away all my security to go and look for your family. So
Wow, that was passive aggressive.
That's the only reason you're
More aggressive than
That's the
passive.
only
I
reason.
think.
Hey, we might need to timestamp this. You guys want to take a break real quick?
Yeah, let's take a break.
This
Sure.
would be perfect.
We are going to take a break here, and we'll come right back. Don't you go nowhere. We're coming back. We're just going to take care of some personal needs.
Ask
one.
again. Don't. Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, welcome back, y'all.
hey, go ahead,
Animals.
Brendan, go ahead and mark that
Animals.
butthurt again.
Anarchy. Yeah.
Up is down.
Down.
we just worked really hard to keep anarchy from taking root in the city, and
We found
And
it
it's
within
here to
ourselves.
stay,
That's
baby.
right.
It's
Right.
here to
Chaos.
stay.
That's right.
All right. Well, welcome back. We return to the scene with Phoenix Company making some plans. Now is the time. They have decided that Inode is their destination, and we're going to do a couple things to prepare for that before we leave. So, Phoenix Company, over to you. What would you like to do first?
Okay, so let's
talk
do
to the dead guy.
Yeah, let's talk to the dead guy first. Let's
Dead
talk,
guy duty. Okay.
I feel like the answers that we get from that
I
might be able
chose
to be.
really
used-
chose the wrong music for this.
give me appropriate dead guy music.
Maybe he's in a better mood now.
What says speak to dead?
You know, it's like when you play Mozart for plants.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Those are
it's-
technically
Hard rock
objects.
works
That's it.
better.
Okay, so here are the questions we're going to ask. 1, how was the Arcanum involved in your rebellion? 2, if you had succeeded, what would have been your next move? 3, what was your group's connection to Inode? 4, who were the patrons of your rebellion? 5, what assistance did your rebellion receive from outside Kywind?
Good
All good?
questions.
Okay.
I like it. Go for it.
I will retroactively cast the spell over his corpse.
Okay. Ask your first question. The face reanimates on the body of Andric Kane, and just this.
And I want to look like charlatan for this, so I want this to have been in private.
Yeah, the eyes lock onto you, and there is that moment of recognition in the corpse, and he just kind of looks at you, and there's a little wry smile on the face.
Yeah, I smile back.
Yeah.
How was the Arcanum involved in your rebellion?
They were a safe haven and a benefactor.
Can I inside check that?
It's a
'Cause I'm-
corpse.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say he can't lie.
Yeah.
So, all right.
You're saying things, Jeff, but we don't have any. Yeah.
It's better that way. But no, I was saying something stupid like read his body language, but
Let's talk about his micro expressions.
The twitch.
Roll your insight.
Okay. 20 flat.
20 flat. Okay. As vain and conceited as he was in life, the semblance of the soul that returns is the same as the person that was there. You get the sense that he had this big elaborate plot. Having an audience just makes it better.
Okay.
Mm.
If you had succeeded, what would have been your next move?
The face kind of looks down, and then the eyes look back up at you, and there's this moment.
Separately.
Yeah.
They do that chameleon thing where they
You
There's
guys are
almost
really
this-
just trying to get me to puke today. I just
There's almost a giddy look in his face, and he says, "Restructuring."
that one's on us. We set the bar too low.
What was your group's connection to Inode?
At that, he looks at you again, and he says, "Mythilus Twilight was an Inodian."
Nicholas Twilight.
it's a question.
The elf.
Oh,
The Twilight Theater.
One of yeah.
The
you're
Twilight
right.
Theater's
oh
owner.
yeah.
What
He's an
happened to them?
Inodian.
I don't remember. What happened to him?
I killed him.
He died. He died.
one of
I
the-
killed
he was
him
one
with
of the
a
inner
magic
circle.
missile spell, and he
Yep.
was mad at
Oh,
me
that's right.
in
Yeah.
his death. Remember?
Yep.
Oh,
He's
so
a full-blooded elf.
he was part of their. He was in the final battle.
He was in the
Yeah.
final battle.
Okay.
He was one of the elites.
So he
of
wasn't
the
an Inode.
woes.
Okay.
So we can potentially investigate
Yeah.
his lineage and that connection later.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Who were the patrons of your rebellion?
Autumn Gale of the Commentech.
Mm. Oh wow.
Of the command tech.
That's new.
Did we meet them?
We did.
Strikes from high place is the chief.
Boy.
That might be something else to do on the way out of town. Okay.
Autumn Gale was the lady in the note. right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
It's twice that name's come up in my notes tonight.
Mhm.
Okay. What assistance did your rebellion receive from outside of Kywind?
Inode stood to gain much. And the life goes out of his eyes, and the corpse
Okay.
goes lifeless.
That's exactly what we wanted.
Yes,
Guys.
that's
Yep.
no. That was really good.
Good job, team. High
Yeah, that-
five.
It's amazing how much points to Inode now.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So we have more than just Turpin's family as reasons. You know, I was willing
Right.
to sell myself out for your family.
Right.
I appreciate that.
Already, but now we have an even greater.
Right.
You know, it's always interesting how like we have like this plot line and like your family plot line happening at the same time, pushing us in directions
All the time. That's going to be the main theme. Right.
It's like you and Franklin pushing us towards the Mantis, and then now your family
Yep.
and yeah,
It's awesome.
that's just
Yeah, that's the
Parallels.
whole.
Guys,
like,
that
Frank-
means that Adam's family did it.
Yeah.
Ah!
I was just gonna say if Franklin hadn't been nabbed like he was, I probably wouldn't have stayed
Yeah.
in Kywind very long.
Half
Well,
of that.
Well, we
Yeah.
can't name this now the Adams family, but
the Turpin's family.
let's turn. That's right. Yeah. I forgot. In character. Anyway,
Banana.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. All right.
Gomez, come.
They're short and they're so hairy.
hey, Dad.
Okay.
Talk about my.
He
feet
has
that
boots
way.
on now. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was a major change in the last
yes.
3 months.
big
Yeah.
change.
He got booties.
You got booties.
Yeah. You know how hard I worked to get him to wear those.
Dead guy booties. Okay.
Nice.
So we would have already known that. So
So Inode
we have
becomes
to
a bigger
decide how
target.
much of that we shared with Janelle.
I feel like we wouldn't have a real reason to not share it with
I
her.
agree.
Yeah.
I think that will.
and-
She will know a lot about the diplomatic aspects of because the history of Inode and stuff.
I mean,
So,
if we're like going back in time and talking about this like this, we would have been planning our trip out to Inode for a while now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Especially having
We can
had,
retcon that.
especially having had our knowledge of all of
Yeah.
it pointing in this direction, we would have been trying to work with her to
Safe to say.
figure out ways to infiltrate the city.
Okay, let me just say, guys, you're going to Inode in Arc 2.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's where we're going. Okay.
No.
I think we can.
Are you
debate
sure?
that.
I really feel like we should go back to Corinth.
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
That's 3 weeks the
Jared-
other way, man.
Jared has asked for rails before. Here are the rails.
Guys, I found them.
But it's how we go there that's the interesting.
It's
thing.
how that makes it fun.
Right.
We're going to go
Brendan-
in the aqueduct. We're going to create
How-
a submarine and go upward.
No, we're gonna recreate the Hobbit scene where they're in the barrels down.
There you go.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Except that's
Down the
upstream.
Except,
Yeah.
Well, do we have eagles
Yeah.
now? Can we just take
We're
the
the
eagles?
Eagles.
fly, you fools!
Literally.
We're gonna
We
take
just
the ring to
eagles the whole
Mordor.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One cannot simply walk to Inode.
I looked for that. in the
Watch
book,
me.
and I
Well,
couldn't
you have
find it,
Pegasus,
so,
not
I know.
Eagles.
Yeah.
Pegasus.
The air
One can
itself is
stand
a
against the
chanting
two
feud.
towers.
Tower of Inode, Tower of
man.
Kywind.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm telling you
man.
guys.
J.R.R. Tolkien, come back from the grave to play D&D with us?
Please. That would be great.
We'll settle for Peter Jackson.
That'd be
I would love that, Peter.
I'd like to
Please.
rip him.
I'm
sorry.
I loved your book.
Why did you
Okay,
change
so
things? Anyway,
guys, let's go talk to Cody's girlfriend.
let's go. Oh, yes.
Girlfriend.
Love
They
interest.
never even. They don't even hang out with each other.
Paramore.
Yes,
Yeah. His muse.
Or at least one more.
His flame.
Side piece.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
He draws his
Called out.
He draws his ring.
He doesn't even go for the nightstick. He's like, you're getting the full rapier, man.
All right.
You've heard of the
Maybe
full
we
Monty
wouldn't have
Python
to
rapier.
say.
I mean,
maybe
If you stab
maybe
me,
we-
there's a snake in there.
Oh gosh.
And
You know, Arlen, we wouldn't have to make those jokes if you would just go on a date with her.
Yeah.
Well, are you kidding? The
just
jokes will get
good
worse.
Shh. You don't have to know that.
Sorry. I'm so
Okay.
bad at this.
Let's
You
go
humans.
talk to her.
Anyway, you're not human. All right. Dead guys. Anyway. Okay, so we're going to Janelle. We're pretty much going to be honest with her about everything, right?
Yeah.
That's the plan. See how she's
Right.
She's doing.
yeah, we don't
So-
need such dark music anymore.
Why not?
Hope not.
Dead
not.
summoning music can be
All right. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Okay, so you head for Castle Dusk. On the way, you stop by your compound and pick up Charlatan's loyal bodyguard, which we will initiate a cutscene here to travel back in the past. Yes, Wayne's World. Let's go. Okay.
By the way, for this flashback, Charlatan is going to be wearing nothing but Pepsi memorabilia.
And a beauty mark where Cindy Crawford has one.
If you
so-
were born before the year 2000, you got that joke.
Okay.
So-
Yep.
The air of the dungeon was damp and heavy, the smell of mildew mingling with a faint metallic tang of old blood. Flickering torchlight cast uneven shadows on the rough stone walls, and dancing over the iron bars of the cells that held Eliza Fairchild's most prized... The boars. Dancing over the iron bars of cells that Eliza Fairchild's most prized and tormented possessions. Among them is a fierce, leonine form restrained by chains too heavy even for her formidable strength. Charlatan crept through a narrow corridor, his light steps muffled by the straw-strewn floor. Dressed in his usual dark robes, Pepsi adorned. His movements were deliberate, his eyes sharp, scanning for guards. Behind him, members of Phoenix Company began to fan out, securing the halls above and ensuring his path remained clear. The estate must be searched. Eliza Fairchild had just attempted a coup, a terrible crime of treason against the city. Charlatan's fingers brushed over the lockpicks at his belt, but he hesitated before a particular cell. Through the bars, he saw her. She sat against the far wall, her golden fur marred by scars and dried blood. Even in her disheveled state, she exuded a quiet dignity, her amber eyes glaring at the approaching figure.
Well, I see that Fairchild had a taste for rare trophies.
Charlatan murmured, his voice low but tinged with sharpness. He studied her bindings, a mix of heavy iron and faintly glowing runes. The magic dampened her strength, he surmised. "Who are you?" She growled, her voice rough yet resonant. Despite her weakened state, her posture was defiant, her pride unbroken.
A friend. I imagine you could appreciate one of those right now.
She bared her teeth in what could have only been a snarl or a grim smile. "I don't need rescuing, stranger. I just need these chains gone and a sword in my hand." Charlatan chuckled, crouching to inspect the lock.
Well, fortunate for you, I can provide both.
He then reached into his satchel and pulled out a small vial of acid.
But first, we'll need to get you out of here before the reinforcements arrive. Fairchild had quite the contingency plan, you see.
As he worked, the female tilted her head. You're not here for me?
An observant. No, you're more of a bonus. I'm here for the Lady Janelle Stewart, and to dismantle this charming little gladiator enterprise while I'm at it.
Her ears perked up, a flicker of hope in her eyes. Fairchild is dead?
She attempted to play a little game with Phoenix Company, and lost. Messily, might I add.
The lock clicked, and the chains fell away. The Leonin female surged to her feet, though she stumbled slightly as the magical suppression faded. Charlatan steadied her, his touch brief but steady. Weapons?
Taken care of. And he pulls out he goes over and produces this gleaming red-hued spear and in like red and gold, and hands it over to her. I assumed you might want this back.
Her eyes widen in recognition as she takes a look at the weapon. She picks it up and tests its weight. A slow smile comes across her face. I underestimated you, friend.
Most do, but that's kind of the idea.
Her ears perked and she looks towards the door, the exit, the sounds of combat echoing from above. Phoenix Company keeping the guards occupied. Charlatan then gestures towards the exit.
Time to leave, Calliope. I mean, unless you'd like to take a detour for vengeance.
She hefted her spear, her muscles taut as she flexed her claws. Vengeance can wait. For now, freedom calls. And the two began to turn, running now, sprinting even through the dim corridors. Calliope keeping pace despite her exhaustion. And as they emerged into the cool night air, she turned to Charlatan, her expression unreadable. You saved me, she said simply.
I have a kind of penchant for collecting interesting allies.
The chuckle that exudes from Calliope was deep and rumbling. Then you've gained yourself a loyal one. Until I return to my home in Ao, my spear is yours.
Well, welcome to the fold, Calliope. I think we'll make quite the team.
And with that, they vanished into the night. A freed warrior and the cunning cleric who earned her trust. Zooming now towards present day, as they stop back at the Phoenix estate, Calliope, waiting in her beautifully adorned, bronze, gold-plated, and red-hued armor, spear, and plumage from her helmet, is waiting to follow Charlatan to where he needs to go.
I know that. Listen, I know I went to the Dusk Fair without you, but you would have gotten bored. You don't have to go everywhere with me.
It is okay. But where you are going now?
We're going to Castle Dusk for an audience with the stewardess.
Lady Janelle is lovely. I will accompany you.
Very well. Your company is always welcome.
Good. Head on a swivel. Hello, Turpin. She looks down at the halfling.
Calliope, always a pleasure.
The pleasure is mine.
How are you sleeping these days?
Much better. Freedom makes me sleep very well.
That it does.
Calliope, as we're on our way there, Arlen's been having a little trouble building up the courage to ask Janelle on a date. And he could use a bit of his courage could use a bit of reinforcement. Do you think you could help him with that?
Just like yell at him and make him pee
Lord
his pants.
Lord Arlen, how good is your roar?
I gotta hear it, Arlen. We gotta set a baseline.
I'm not sure.
Like how well do you roar?
Yeah. Demonstrate.
She's spoken common.
Oh, she speaks common.
I know.
She's very tall and scary. You better do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are talking like Greek goddess in lion form that is upright, walks around, hoplite.
If Wonder Woman were a lion.
That's awesome.
That's her.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Arlen? No?
Roar.
That is more of a growl, but we can work on it.
I mean,
Comes from the guy
that's for after the date, Arlen.
I got you.
That is the cuddling growl. Yes,
Cuddling growl.
as a member of the
Trademark
defender,
Fyresidefables.
as a member of the defender's case system, males court female leonin by making big roars. It is very sexy.
You should try it. Do it, please. Next time we just see Lady Janelle.
I will
just-
say that
don't
half
feel
elves
like this will-
likely have different mating cultures.
No, no,
but
shh, shh, shh.
No, this could work.
No, I think this will be perfect.
Don't
if
feel like
the
this
Lady
is going to
Janelle
work in
is
this case.
feeling, at the same time, it would be a story she never forgets and tells often.
I mean, who else has roared at her?
Yeah, I know. Think about it.
I mean, what else have you tried?
I mean, he's like stalked her from the bushes.
I am pretty sure
Um,
I've made it very clear I've been giving her space to collect her faculties.
If I can provide a little bit of encouragement to you, approach dating women as a lion, not as a rat.
Good.
Bushes are no
Advice.
place for romances.
Cal kind of like laughs into it.
Brutal. She's brutal.
The Raiden Whites are an interesting race in AO.
That reminds me, we really need to pick up that sparring session again.
You tell me when and where. And she just looks and she bares her teeth in this smile. It's intimidating as hell.
Oh yeah, she's like one of the few people that can probably match me on the field right now.
She's sturdy, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Sturdy.
Yep.
This is my hetero life partner, Mountain.
Mountain. Oh my word.
Well played. Well played.
Oh.
All right. Marking Arlen. Aside.
Habits, I get-
Yeah, you came by that one, honestly.
Arc 1 was Turpin, Arc 2 is Arlen.
Welcome
Yeah,
to
we
the
just-
crosshairs, Cody.
Yeah. We'll see what Arc 3 bears. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's time. It's
It
time.
was Jeff's
And
turn.
I wouldn't
Bears
needle
are
you so much
Balder?
if you didn't respond to it in such a fantastic manner.
She'll never. I'm just saying, if you roar at her, she's never going to forget it.
I that's what I'm
Ever.
thinking. I will never forget it
Ever.
either. I know. Just think about it.
All right.
We could cause
I
two
will-
separate diplomatic incidents in the months.
You saved the city. What you going to do?
You guys, wow.
Pretty impressive.
City,
Fun.
island, it's
I would, if you did that and it fell apart, I would have to say that your actions and beliefs are a reflection of your own and not that of Phoenix Company as a whole.
Phoenix Company does not give relationship advice. Is that
He's
what
acting as an independent
Phoenix
agent.
Company is a registered LLC, so limited liability.
Oh yeah. Okay. Listen, we all picked positions within the company. We haven't assigned an HR representative yet.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true.
And cuddlingroar.com is available. So
Well, now it's not.
Yeah, well, I know. We
Thanks,
just do
Joe.
that now. But by the time this airs,
Yeah.
Are you saying you're gonna buy it, Jeff?
I don't know.
Wow.
You know?
We're here.
Well, it's funny how it looks on the G and at the end of the ing and the roar looks like groar, and I'm thinking we're going
Roar. Cuddle and roar.
Cuddle and grower.
Cuddle and grow.
Cuddle and roar.
and I'm not sure what that means. So
There's an NPC name.
Yep.
Cuddle and grow.
That's my
Cuddle and
next
grower.
character, guys.
Then I'm gonna make a monster that eats you, and it's gonna be chewing the cud.
All right, but
Oh,
I
man.
digress.
yeah, we all do.
All right. Castle Dusk.
All right.
Yep.
So
Don't sound so
Now.
disappointed.
you arrive at Castle Dusk. You arrive at
Alright.
Castle Dusk. Let's get some more formal music here. Okay. So, as you walk into the large courtyard, you can see that the forward operating base has since been turned into a place where ballots are actually being written, stamped, and approved in order for the very, very large and important election that is coming up. And you remember back to some of the documents that you received talking about Lady Janelle and the fact that she had rigged an election.
Accusations, right?
One of the accusations made against her. You
Right.
decided not to believe that especially after she told you and tried to confirm it with you. But you remember now that this is actually one of the duties of the stewards is to oversee the electoral process of the city to make sure that its democratic, rather republic roots are upheld and that the votes are fair and unbiased and undertaken well. And with that, you can see many of her agents kind of coming to and fro. And obviously you are spotted quickly by them, and one of them runs off to fetch the lady steward. And Janelle comes out of the estate, her cane in hand, still limping and hobbling along. She hails you, and you all begin to approach, and she notes, bows, nods her head, and says, Phoenix Company, it is good to see you.
Elias
We are
leans into
quite
Arlen's ear.
busy
Do
here,
it
so
now.
I
Do it
cannot
now.
offer much time to you, but 5 to 15 minutes, I suppose, I can take out of my schedule.
Yeah, I'll elbow Arlen and be like, go.
Go. Do it.
Do it.
So Arlen will reach over and grab her free hand and kiss her knuckles.
Oh wow!
She gives a smile. Let's see, what are your passive insights?
17.
17?
Not great.
Yeah,
Or, no, 15.
15?
yeah, you guys are gonna be a lot better than. I'm terrible.
Arlen's gonna have a kick booty insight.
Yeah,
19.
19?
Yeah. Mine's like
All right.
12.
So if anyone is higher than a 14, you see her blush a little bit when he kisses her knuckles.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
She doesn't withdraw her hand quickly, but she also doesn't look expectantly to have anyone else kiss her knuckles.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't
Dang
either.
it.
So then
It's like,
I stand straight and back up a step and just let her hand go.
Is Arlen blushing? I'm looking at Arlen.
I look over at Calliope and go, wuss.
She kind of leans in and whispers, "Now is not the time for a roar. Wait until inside for a reverberating echo."
Yeah. Too big of a
Reverb.
space. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reverb.
Well, Lady Janelle, we wanted to kind of circle around to some of our previous conversations that we've had about our planned trip to Inode.
Very well, we shall make for my office then. Come, follow. And she turns and begins to hobble back, and y'all are way faster than she is.
That's fine.
So, keeping pace with her, eventually you get into her office.
I'll walk up and offer her my arm and like look back at Arlen.
She takes it and follows along.
Making a
Thank you,
move
that's-
here?
That is most kind. I appreciate it.
Of course.
And you get up to the door. The door
Not
is opened
worried.
by servants, and off to the right to her.
Guys.
her
I say we all make a run at her. Let's make a let's
Oh
let's
my
make a
God.
love pentagram.
No.
wow.
I will draw that rapier.
Who will win? Who will lose? Find out next time on the Fireside Fables.
Guys, screw
All
it.
I'm saying is,
Let's just do a D&D version of The Bachelor.
Oh, jeez.
Play Def Leppard's Love Bites as each person gets voted off.
That's
Oh,
right.
my Lord.
if you're not going to make your move, she's a very eligible bachelorette in the city. What
Who
better
wins?
protection could I have from the scales if not being, betrothed to a steward of the city?
That's true.
I mean, then it sets the whole city against the NA Arcanum, and it's a
Right.
whole thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So-
It's why it's not actually real. It's just funny.
Yeah. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. All right. So she stands out of the way to let you all into her office, comes behind you and closes the door. And as she does, she goes, "Oh, this election is a nightmare. These special election runoffs are they're not my favorite, let me tell you."
Sure.
Is there any particular candidate in the lead at the moment?
As of now, it seems as though Dane Whitlock, the former soldier and blacksmith, he seems to be doing pretty well.
Well,
But-
those polls, they only call like old people who still have landlines, so you never really know.
It's very true. It's very true. And text
I
messaging,
never get asked.
people love to troll the text
And
messages.
weirdos who are willing to talk to a dude in the street with a clipboard.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Nothing
exactly.
is.
It's like, bro, I have my earbuds in. Please
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah. The only thing we have going for us, really, truly, in terms of understanding any polling at the moment, is just how many people are showing up at rallies. But some people then leave halfway through. Others are then just
Nothing makes sense.
the rally hopping, and it's the strangest of things, truly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, between Mr. Whitlock, Miss Vega, and Mr. Duskholm, I feel as though it's kind of a toss-up, but if I had to lean one direction, I would say that Dane Whitlock is likely the person to receive the most votes as of right now.
And which one would you prefer?
I try to remain as neutral as possible when it comes to the running of elections due to my
Position.
past accusations.
Oh, come on now. It's only us in this room. Surely you can
Yes.
be honest with us.
But that's part of the problem, my dear friend, is that the walls have ears here.
Mm.
Very well.
I understand.
If I am neutral with you, then I can be neutral with the rest of the city.
Mhm.
Fair enough.
And that bears my family great advantage, for I have a feeling that whoever wins is going to restructure certain parts of the government, and I would very much so like for the stewards to remain as an important part of the city's tradition.
Of course. After
If you
all,
wish
what
to
would the city
discuss
be
it-
without you.
I mean, I heard that you had a slot open on Thursday. That if you wish to have drinks-
Thursday night is free as of now in the evening times, and I would welcome it as an opportunity to let my hair
Catch
down a
up.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just drinks amongst
Yeah,
friends.
like a
Yeah.
maybe a nice
Well,
dinner.
Drinks might be a bit much. Again, I am a public
Again.
figure and drinking in public, but who's to say that I couldn't enjoy a nice bottle of wine inside of my private estate?
Perfect.
I do have an entertaining room.
Yeah.
You all are always welcome to call, please. I owe you so much.
Yeah. Well,
How is
we
the
owe-
estate?
Can I-
How is Phoenix Estate?
Can I roll an attack roll
Wonderful,
to
thank
kick
you.
Arlen in the shin?
Yeah, it's an improvised weapon, so you have no proficiency with this. It's just going to be your strength modifier.
Okay.
And remember, he is an unarmored defense where it's his dex and his wisdom modifier. Good luck,
Yeah,
buddy.
you good luck. You're not gonna.
18. What's your AC?
Is that hit?
Harlan, I think that hits. I think that
hits,
matches.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I'm
shut up.
17 is
17. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So a +4 and a +3 for your dexterity and wisdom modifier. So you do kick him in the shins.
Lightly, not super hard.
Lightly,
Just-
yeah, not hard.
I
She did
lean
not
over.
I rolled a 4.
Arlen kind of sits up and looks over and says, "If you are free on Thursday."
Calliope, like, gets real excited for a second.
No.
She's purring.
You got.
He is.
Well, unfortunately, I was hoping that we would all leave on our journey on Wednesday, so we'll have to take a rain check.
No. Don't interrupt him. This is his moment.
Sorry, continue.
Woldy is very busy for me, but Denethi, I am completely free in the evening.
I would like to discuss a few things with you, if
Business or
Private.
pleasure?
Private.
Perhaps both.
Very well. My Thursday evening is booked.
I look
Cal
forward
off
to
to
it,
the
my
side,
lady.
kind of out of her vision, is like.
All right, so I'm sorry. What are we
Yes, we're
actually
off
talking
topic.
about now?
Yeah.
I actually, there was actually a question I would have.
The room
I-
suddenly fills with an aroma of vanilla and lavender and citrus.
Sorry,
They're
Trevor
just-
Carter.
Oh, I forgot about
the-
that.
Um,
It's been a while.
yes.
Been a
His
while.
nickname, his code name for the group is Potpourri. The-
Are you sure it's not Musk?
yeah. So there actually is a question I would like to ask concerning the history of the city, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure. I'm pretty well versed in that subject.
I can't help but have noticed how dependent Kywind is on the aqueduct from Inode, bringing water into the city. But from what I understand it, the city, the founding of the city actually precedes the creation of the aqueduct. So what did the city do for water before its creation?
Wells. They were unreliable for the most part. We didn't have the means to dig deep enough in order to have enough of a cistern there to help catch some of the rainfall and then provide it for our people for drinking. And the purification process was, quite frankly, we were behind the times in terms of a lot of our advancements. Also, before the walls themselves, at least in terms of my understanding of the annals of our history, we didn't have to worry about the command tech in this region. We would have access to the rivers, streams, and lakes that were around, but now there's no leaving the city, not for water. Things got difficult. We were at a population cap. We just couldn't supply any more people. We had to be selective about food rationing and growing of crops. It was very difficult. And then we were approached by Inode, at least in terms of my understanding of this series of events. Inode had a need for certain materials, and there was, according to the silver picks, there was an abundance of weaverite below the city. The magical, I don't know, some call it quintessence, others call it, just a magical kind of mineral that is used in the enchantment of certain items. We were to sell the rights, the mineral rights and the land rights of any weaverite that we found, and in return they would supply us with water from the lake, fresh water that they would build an aqueduct to supply our city. And so the treaty of the Fairchild Treaty was signed, and in 464 they began construction. It stretched all the way from Inode to our fair city, many, many miles, and brought fresh water. The aqueduct itself was then incorporated into our wall system, so that the wall was capable, the water was capable of moving throughout the entirety of the city, coming through the walls at any given point, to then be added down into the cisterns below. So, as of now, we enjoy a stretch of water. And that water right was meant to be indefinite as far as we knew with the contract. All we had to do was supply any weave right that we mined all the way to Inode, along the aqueduct road, which was also built and created an opportunity for us to follow alongside. The Inodians enchanted the aqueduct in such a way that any living sentient creature that approached it that was not Inodian or Kywindian would all of a sudden become forgetful, realize there was something else they needed to do, and then wander off. It worked for quite some time, but the command tech slowly became more and more resistant to it. To this point, our Weaverite mines have dried up, but we still enjoy the aqueduct water that flows freely from Inode.
I'm just
another question. Hypothetically, not promising anything, but if a solution to Kywind's water supply issue that did not include the aqueduct, what do you think Inode's response would be to such a change?
Seeing as we have not sent them a shipment of Weaverite in over 80 years, part of me is not sure that there would be much response at all.
Yeah. I still worry or think about that they know that they have that kind of control or influence over us that at any moment they could shut off the flow. Especially with all the information we've learned, about Inode's potential involvement with the Mantis.
Have you filled in Lady Janelle to this at this point, or is this fresh news to her?
Yeah, we would have, like, Okay. In my head, like, as soon as we learned that, we would have been sharing that.
It would have been a state secret kind of conversation.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Like, this is big. Like, we're still not sure even how to address it, but
yeah, you see her get this nervous look, like, I'd rather not talk about these things because I already have mentioned the walls have ears.
Sure.
And all she says to that is, "You're not wrong."
So,
Lady Janelle, you mentioned a treaty. I'm assuming these documents still exist.
There are copies of them within our Hall of Records, yes.
Would you mind terribly if I were to study them?
Please, go for it.
In so many words, we have a desire to travel to Inode, but we need an excuse. And I can't help but think that a potential renegotiating of water rights and availability might be the perfect cover.
you can see Cal kind of looks uneasy at that.
Yes, our hope is to go stealthily, but maybe hiding in plain sight is a better way.
That is how I had discovered the finest place to hide is in plain sight, in my experience.
We had refugees that left the city, and potentially they were bound for Inode.
Mm-hmm.
Others bound southwest or southeast, but we have not sent a diplomatic contingent to Inode in over a generation. There would be nothing silent about it. It would be...
Yeah.
It would be eventful.
The trick is actually not being unseen, but making sure that they're looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah.
My fear with
I'm nervous
the water,
to continue this conversation.
Yeah, my fear with the water treaty is right now they're well enough left alone, right? And if we send a diplomatic intention to renegotiate water rights, then all of a sudden they have every right to talk about it and leverage everything they have.
If I may, for now, and I understand your hesitancy, if you would be so kind as to authorize me to look into the treaty and perhaps seek other avenues of water supply within the city, I feel that would be more than sufficient.
As this, we are but 2 weeks away from a very important election within Kywindian history. It is unprecedented as Tomicus Mayhew has officially resigned and stepped down. There is an acting governor in his stead who merely just shows up and does nothing. She doesn't even have executive order powers at this time to offer such a thing. Elias, I am very, very grateful for your interest in this. If we can find independence from Inode, all the better, but I will not risk the people's water rights or supply without something properly in place before that would even be called into question.
That is all I am asking to do. If I may simply be given permission to
Within the walls of
investigate.
Kywind, you may investigate, but outside I will not give such permission.
Of course. That is all I am
Very well.
asking.
Thank you.
So you would be more comfortable with us to enter Inode if we needed to unseen as
Compared
I will
to-
forget that I ever heard your course is Inode, if that is your charter.
I don't know that I said Inode, but okay. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you.
Literally said it.
No, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Sure, listen, we can talk about some of this water stuff later. I have an
Where
idea.
might where might I find these treaties? I do not wish to take it up any more of your time.
The Hall of Records inside of the Castle Dusk will be where you can find them.
Thank you.
Has the Any Arcanum contacted you at all about reestablishing any kind of?
There's been zero contact. I would prefer them never contact me again, if I'm being quite frank.
I have a great idea about what to do with their tower. If you know,
Wonderful.
I'll
They are no longer here, it is state property. I can do with it what I wish.
I'll send over the documents of my proposal and see if it's to your liking.
I will be excited to put it forth to my committee.
Yeah.
Well,
Anything else, anyone?
you have been more than gracious with your time.
As
Thank you.
always.
And you have not wasted mine, something I am grateful for. I do not take for granted the fact that the time that I have now is because of the time that you've put forth, as well as the effort you've put forth on behalf of Kywind. So thank you, again, from the bottom of my heart, as a state representative and the steward of Castle Dusk, stewardess rather. You are always welcome here, and I appreciate everything you've done.
We seek only a prosperous and secure Kywind.
Well, good. That is what I want. Our goals are aligned.
This is our home now.
And you are doing a wonderful job of keeping it so.
Yeah. You should stop by the orphanage sometime soon. The stories there
like
are
that.
wonderful.
Yes, Timaeus puts on.
Oh, you
play
have a
shows.
story hour.
Yes.
I'm sure the children love that.
It's unforgettable.
Yep.
Truly.
It's bloody amazing.
No.
I'm sure with the collapse of the Twilight Theaters, it must be better than nothing.
Yes.
Some seem to. Anyway,
Let's get out of here before he keeps talking.
Before we leave, my lady, I'm sensing a bit of emotional response concerning, if you don't mind my asking, what's it? I mean, we haven't sent representatives in a while, I suppose, but what's it like?
It was before even my father took over as steward. My father never sent any. He always was wary. There always seemed to be strings attached.
Mhm.
The thing about Inode is that it is a contractual society. Everything is done with legalities. And it always seems to come in favor of Inode.
Mhm.
He didn't trust them. I guess he instilled a healthy sense of distrust in me. I don't trust them either. I fear for the day that a steward takes over or a governor that doesn't realize the unhealthy need to attach themselves to the state in such an unhealthy way.
I understand for those that are in charge. I'm just kind of curious if you know what it's like for the people over there.
I have
The
heard very
residents of
little.
Inode.
We have not received any immigration from Inode in over 300 years.
wow.
Wow.
You know, Turpin, I mean, something that I'm mostly scared about. She hit on the idea of contractual legality inside of Inode. My biggest fear is that we turn up and we find your family in some very bad situation.
Thoughts crossed my mind too.
Oh, begging your pardon, I forgot. Please pardon my brashness with such
No.
sayings.
Your
it's
candor is much
understandable.
appreciated.
Yeah, to have a city in such dependence upon people like that is something you don't want to. Well, no reason to risk in the city. I'm sure it's grown a bit since that aqueduct has been built.
As the stewardess, my advice would be to stay clear of Inode.
And we
As your
shall.
friend, do not let it be a place where Merrick and Petunia are stuck long.
That's my goal.
We seek to right all wrongs we come across, my lady.
If I were a betting gal, it would be on you.
Your
And that's
faith
saying a lot.
is not misplaced, I assure you.
Good.
Gentlemen, I believe we've taken out enough of the lady's time.
See you Thursday.
Yes, I look forward to it. What shall we eat? What shall we eat? I'll have my servants get ready on the menu immediately.
Oysters.
Those would come from Inode, and I'm not going to make any special
Never
orders
mind.
anytime soon.
Do you have chocolate-covered strawberries?
I'm sure that I can procure some. Is there a lady that you're wooing, Elias?
Yes.
yeah, that's it.
Congratulations. I shall make such arrangements. Otherwise, I'm fencing some prime rib. Does that sound good?
That sounds perfect. I would love that.
Wonderful. Okay, very well. Prime rib for all.
Sounds like a date.
I'm bringing the orphans.
No. On second thought, it will be tater tots.
Tater
Tater
tots.
No, I mean, like, let's not. Okay, fine.
Will you be serving hot pockets?
No, but hot dogs will be there.
Hey.
All right.
All right. Well, we make your leave. And like I said, I'll have some of our secretaries send over some documents about a proposal I have for the tower.
Julia
It's a
Lynn's
good
writing is quite beautiful. I look forward to reading it.
We on the way out, Brendan, we don't have to role play it, but I do want to. I can break off from the group if I need to, but
Okay.
I want to go to the Hall of Records and pull those documents.
Sure.
As we're kind of walking away, and as we've left the palace, I'll ask Zeke to do an independent study of the cisterns and Kywind to see if there was any interference from the Arcanum potentially to artificially dry up to create an artificial dependence on the aqueduct.
So I lean forward to Cal and I say, how with keen mind, how long did she say it's been since they've sent a shipment?
Over
80 years?
80 years. Over 80 years since they've sent any. No. Sorry. Was it that? No, sorry.
Yeah.
The immigrants was 300 years. The shipment was 80
Shipment
years.
was 80 years. Yeah.
So I lean forward and, with a lower voice, say, she tells us that Inode is a strict culture based upon contracts. And yet, Kywind has not been keeping up their end of the bargain contractually for 80 years, but the water keeps flowing.
I'm worried about the day that they decide to pull that lever.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one reason for that.
They still want to have some kind of influence over.
Absolutely.
String.
So,
it's a really
The
big
sooner-
string.
The sooner we get off of this
The sooner.
particular supply, the better.
And that's really why I was against the diplomatic solution. If Kywind were to send a diplomatic congregation, it would force their hand to act to either turn off until we had renegotiated.
The solution doesn't work unless there's a solution to that solution doesn't work unless
Yes.
there's a solution to the aqueduct in place.
I know. I was just saying it wouldn't make sense for us to necessarily force their hand by opening talks without
Agreed.
waiting for them to make their move is the right move in this case.
I have one other avenue of inquest before I'm ready to fully endorse such a plan.
Yeah. I can still have Zeke start.
Please do.
Yeah. Having Mayans already, it wouldn't be too big of a stretch for them.
You may wish to investigate them magically as well.
Yeah. We could also reach out to our friends and see if they know of any springs of water potentially the city could use.
There certainly has to be access points to the old.
Again, I might have someone who can answer that question specifically.
I'll let you take care of it, and I leave it in your capable hands.
Now, this may be a long-term issue that we need to deal with, rather than a immediate issue. But if we learn something on the way,
I mean, I have an idea of making an underground subterranean tunnel to one of the more local aquifers,
right?
Potentially, but that would be very costly and.
Unless, of course, we had a Drangolin doing the digging.
Well,
her tunnel only lasts about 10 minutes, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but we would have people come behind and prop it up. And
right, we could do that.
But, like, again, this is all
and from what I understand, there are several out-of-work dwarves here in Kywind.
Yeah,
I
have a sinking suspicion that Inode created an artificial dependence of water in order to drive their control over.
Let's go ahead and call it what it is, Cal. Not a suspicion, a conclusion.
Yeah.
Right. Assumption.
Well, it'll be a conclusion once we have definitive evidence. Right now, this is an assumption.
Would Turpin's survival skills be any use in trying to find water sources in and around Kywind?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Surveying.
Offer my services there.
If we have time, certainly. I feel free.
The only timetable is the one that you set before yourselves, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Phoenix Company wants to.
Well, do we want to spend like the next week in the city?
If we feel like we're not ready to go to just yet, I'm very happy.
Well, I at the very least want to read and memorize this treaty agreement.
Yeah.
See if I can find any loopholes.
Well, it is very well written.
Yeah.
That's what they do.
Mm-hmm.
You don't find any such loophole possibility, and all of it comes out in favor of Inode.
Well, what I'm looking for specifically, Brendan, is there any language in the contract that speaks to penalties for failing to ship the ore?
That is kind of left up as gray area. The interesting thing to you is the transfer of ownership in the failure to make good on the contract. Inode claims the rights to anywhere the water touches.
Oh dear.
Which means the very walls of Kywind themselves would belong to Inode. And every house that has the water piped up into it. The city itself pretty much would fall to ownership of Inode.
Are there any reciprocal rights that the rights that the Kywindians have? If the
Kywindians,
like a default to giving water, let's say the water was blocked, it didn't show up. What would?
No, there are no such amendments made, no such places inside of the contract. And you look it over. You look it over with
whoever. Whoever negotiated this all,
I will say,
ran over.
They were desperate.
I will say,
they were desperate.
Not only was it desperation, also it was the way that they wrote. It was so okay. The way a brilliant scheme works is that you don't just write it out in a specific clause. You have one clause trigger a second clause. The second clause triggers a third clause.
It's a house of cards. Yeah.
It's a house of cards that will fall in on itself. And that is how this is written. It was an omnibus, so to speak.
Yeah. So, like, legally, through this, they would potentially own the entire city, or they do.
Anywhere the water touches.
If they fail to receive
realistically, how we know that they would be capable of probably enforcing that if they so really desired.
Yeah, potentially.
Why are they not?
Who knows?
That's the question.
Well, that's why they've kept the water going, is because anywhere the water touches, that's what
they
they
haven't
own.
already done that.
So
within their own circle.
What happens
Right.
if we just blow
be
up
that
the
Inode
aqueduct?
well, that's
already
actually
believes that the city belongs
The
to them.
the Knolls were trying to do that.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Turpin looks at Cal and is kind of like, that's kind of where my mind was going. They can't.
Yeah.
If we
just
stop,
have to.
we stop the flow ourselves.
Well, in the contract, it talks about the maintenance of the wall will fall to Inode, or the aqueduct. They will handle the repairs and make sure that the water gets repaired in its flow, should that happen.
They do.
Well, then how come we were contracted to fight and save? Well, that's weird. I didn't receive a payment from Inode.
Right?
Maybe that's our cover. Phoenix Company shows up requesting payment for contracted maintenance done
Right.
for the aqueduct.
Yeah,
There
right.
we go. We have
Yeah.
our in.
That won't raise any flags.
So
Yeah,
while
not at all.
we're discussing this, after I've read the contract, Brendan,
Sure.
I want to request an audience, a private audience, me and her, with the high priestess.
Oh, Twyla. Sure.
Yeah, Twyla.
Okay. Noted. Anything else before we get to that?
No, I mean, I would have just, hey, Zeke, do this for me. Here's some money to. It'll
Sure.
probably take you a few months. I understand that, but
Okay.
if we can start to have progress on potentially the viability of a non-aqueduct water source.
Yeah, you realize that cisterns aren't really my fortitude, my strong point.
Do you know someone who would be a better contact?
I've got some mason friends that I could contract this out. Aye.
Yeah,
You leave it to me. I'll take care of it for you,
Yeah.
boss man.
I appreciate it. I want to try and understand, come away with a better understanding of the feasibility of supporting Kywind's population without the aqueduct.
All right. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll send a few contracts your way to look over. A few
Yeah.
subcontractors I like to work with.
If have them be on the lookout for any previous maybe malfeasance and fudging of the previous assessments as well.
All right. Yeah, if I could have your permission to look at the records, I could have a general inspection.
I'll sign a letter for you and have it sent over to Lady Janelle. She should give you the requisite access.
She's pretty, that one. Aye.
She really is. I have a dinner date with her on Thursday. I'm really excited.
No way, you dog.
Yeah.
No,
As it turns out, all you have to do is ask, and she'll.
Put in a good word for me.
Of course, always. I got your back.
Of course. Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we do. You
Yeah.
took me from, unemployed foreman to owner, so hey, I owe you quite a lot.
Well, friends are friends, no matter what.
I agree. All right, I'll get working on this subcontractor nonsense. You don't worry your pretty little self about it. It'll all work out. Enjoy your date, laddie.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, good luck to you. So-
See, Arlen, all you have to do is ask. It's that simple.
Confidence is key.
She likes you.
Arlen takes his quarterstaff, turns it upside down, and clicks it around your ankle and pulls really hard.
He pulls out a little notebook. And he writes, "Ow."
I'm
so it
just
begins.
saying, Arlen, she likes you. All you have to do is ask.
All right.
All things in good time.
Oh my gosh, you're hopeless.
That or he's working up quite the ask.
I hope
That's
so.
right.
I
Okay.
mean, if you're
He's playing the
prepared
long
to,
game.
if you're preparing to like propose to her without going on a date, might not work out well for you.
Maybe not.
Marry me.
But That is neither here nor there, as Charlatan is making his way to the Temple Dusk.
So I want to meet with her in her inner sanctum, and I can be
right through the pool of blood, all the fun stuff,
Yeah.
yada yada yada. Here we are.
Why is everything blood?
Yeah. Origin, love this place.
Because of that reaction, it keeps people out.
Yeah, I show her the snake thing because I think she'll think it's hilarious.
Oh, she loves it.
And we chat for a while, and then I explain to her the problem of the contract and the water and everything. And finally, when I feel like the conversation has gotten around to the point where I can ask her,
as you begin to tell her about this contract, she's furious.
Yeah.
Because it defies everything that Gudrus desires. Self-reliance, independence, and not being tied to another person for your well-being.
Which, dear Twyla, as a fellow advocate of freedom and the Neverbound, I can't help but wonder, is there any... can you bring any powers to bear to point us in the right direction of finding a replacement water supply beneath the city?
I thought for a moment you were going to ask me to help you get into Inode, and I would say there are two kinds. No, that's incorrect. 3 kinds of magic in our world, Mr. Charlatan. There are the primals, the magics that are old and have been around for far longer than any of us care to understand. There are the divine, the magics the gods imbue mortals with. And then there are the arcane. I believe there could be such magics that might be able to help us find water sources, but divine and arcane magics, they do not mix well. One is full of pride, hubris, self-knowing. The other, well, this is the one gray area most followers of Gudrus prefer not to think about. We are reliant upon the Neverbound in order to bring his power into the world around us. It is the one time, the one excuse we have for relying on another being. There is something to be feared from an Arcanist, and that is that they are self-reliant on their own magics, whereas we are tied to the will of a god. Never trust an Arcanist.
Yeah. I understand. My thought is, there was nothing in the language of the contract that would allow Kywind to break it. But I can't help but wonder if there might not be a way to force Inode to break it themselves.
That is intriguing. Personally, with the great uptick in shadow believers, I have a feeling that the phrase, "You may take it from my cold dead hands," might come into play here. Water.
Yes.
Water is a survival.
Yes.
It is necessary to live. If it is necessary to live, then, by Jove, the gods have given us natural rights.
If I step too far, please tell me, but could you perhaps petition the Neverbound to tell us where we might look?
I will spend some time in prayer regarding this.
That is all I ask.
Tell me, how is our mutual friend faring? How have her tapestries seemed?
They are, of course, works of art dedicated to Kamaria, as they should be for one in my service.
It is interesting. Have you seen them dance in the shadows yet? She has a way with the wove, that girl.
They are quite beautiful.
Indeed. Tell her that I say hello.
I will. And if I can do anything to return the favor, please do not hesitate to ask.
You are rather intriguing, charlatan.
I try. And then I'll
Good
leave.
eve to you.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So I'll just wait for her response, see if she gets anything.
Well, Phoenix Company. How long are we waiting?
I like Cal's idea of a week. Let's see what we come up with in a week.
Just give us some general ideas.
Yeah, so Brendan, what I'm wondering about that contract, having memorized it, so he's not constantly reading it, but he's going
Right.
over his head over and
Right.
over again, picking it apart like a puzzle.
Sure.
I'm wondering if there's anything that would cause, if anything that occurred would cause Inode to be in breach of the contract, because I understand that they built it up against Kywind being in breach.
No, there's not much there in terms of Inode being in breach, but it does state at one point that should Inode choose to engage in a new contract that would override the first, it is possible for it to be done. They can back out in terms of a more favorable contract in the future.
Is there anything in the contract that stipulates how often the contract can be renegotiated?
No, nothing. You also find, surprisingly, there is no stipulation on how often Weaverite must be shipped. It just says that any Weaverite
Yeah,
found...
they knew it. They knew what they were doing
Yeah.
when they made this thing. Yeah. Okay.
What if they were running out of water themselves?
It's connected right to the
Natural
inland
lake.
sea, the large inland sea.
So we
like
drain
this is
that.
Fresh
and-
water
hundreds
in
and
the sea.
hundreds and hundreds of miles.
They've got a tap on Lake Superior.
Yeah, I cast drought.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
For 100 years.
Yes, every day.
Okay.
Hmm.
I'll just wait for her response before I do anything.
In about 6 days' time, you get some responses. From Zeke, he has hired a subcontractor and an inspector. He's told neither of the others' work or the fact that they're going to be down, but
Good.
receives a report back from both talking about how the cisterns are actually in pretty decent shape
Hmm.
and that they are holding water, collecting it from rainstorms, that there's quite a bit down below. The inspector notes that there are a couple of places where there's some fault lines.
That could have been cracked open to drain.
Correct. And then slightly repaired.
Okay. That's
From Twyla, you receive a note. All it says is, where there is a will, there is water.
kind of Field of Dreamsy, but whatever.
So is the inspector guy's name Will?
Build it and they will drink. Yeah.
Okay, so I think so. Elias or Charlatan would go to Cal privately and say, we need to hire as many survey teams as we can. Go down
Well,
there and look.
take a look at this.
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
definitely evidence that there was tampering in order to negotiate this contract so far in their favor.
There was no evidence in any of the documents of
Yeah.
there being foul play. All inspections
Yeah.
passed with soaring colors.
And yet they shouldn't have.
Yep.
Okay.
So,
We need to write that up as a report to the stewardess,
yep.
secretly.
We, obviously, Oh boy, she already has a headache, I can tell.
Yes, but then I'll show him the note. Um,
Even
it-
more.
it's it's somewhat encouraging to have a god let you know that a task can
There's-
be accomplished.
Right. There is a possibility.
So, the worst comes to worst, if we go ballistic, we should be okay. I still am in favor of venturing ourselves into the city to assess situations,
Yes.
but not
That is
as
true. I agree. However, once we make our
play,
Well,
we should make sure
play.
that we're fully set up. So
Yes.
maybe
but also the contract allows for renegotiation at any time.
Yeah.
So all we have to do, I should say, all the governor or the stewardess has to do, is simply make the overture, and they are contractually required to consider it.
Yeah. Well, and if we are able to approach Inode as of we have a fully independent water source that we no longer need them. New contract. Here's the new contract. We can continue to provide water to us under new terms. We could come to them in a position of strength. It's only in this scenario do I support the idea of approaching as a diplomatic envoy from Kywind.
Who did the okay? If we did look up the inspection documents, Brendan, who were those inspections conducted by? Were they conducted by Inode or Kywind?
The documents referred to it as Kywindian inspections.
Okay.
My guess is the local Arcanum maybe had
Yeah,
some
are
foul
they
play.
are they ratified by a third party or anything like that, or is it all internal?
They're
Sorry,
notarized.
DM. We really, we're really.
I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I will find a loophole, Brendan.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I
think
will
we're.
find it.
Yeah, we got to get to
I
know.
bet you know.
We gotta get there as not representatives of Kywind,
No.
because if we get caught, what if they
Yeah.
decide to negotiate now? We own it all.
Yeah, that door swings both ways.
That's right.
Yeah. So, my guess.
We need to get people working on this.
Charlatan, these inspections were done well over 400 or 500 years ago, right?
No,
when was
so
the aqueduct built? Sorry.
464 is the signing of the treaty,
Yeah.
Okay.
which was 140 years ago.
Okay. So,
So
I mean,
around 130 is when the construction was finished.
yeah. So, like, the survey or these inspections were done. There's really no legitimate
At
way that we
160.
Yeah, there's like no way that we would be able to find foul play or a paper trail of bribery to change.
You're
the
lucky to
record.
have found these documents, period.
Yeah,
They don't need bribery. They just charm you, and you do what they want you to do.
yeah.
I think that's what you. I don't think.
Again,
Are you guys not
also-
getting that?
That's what Twyla was saying.
They're
Yeah,
timeshare salesmen.
Yeah.
yeah. You know, again,
Yep. Sorry. How much do you love your family? Do you want to spend time with them? Buy, and then you go. Oh,
Well, if only we
Right?
had a representative for Kywind that has advantage against being charmed.
who?
a couple of us actually.
Yeah,
Yeah, two of you.
Hardcore.
Yeah, I am. So the only asterisk I'm saying is I don't want to assume that the Arcanum is directly tied into this contract and the way it was set up, but there's a high chance that they probably were.
And
Too many of these pieces put
Cal
together.
and Timaeus and Charlatan, I will say, the High Charmer is named Inodegaron the Witty.
Oh. He's full of himself. I hate him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We have
need
to go in-
Here's what we need to do.
A
We
Furbolg with no equal.
We need to go into Inode with the way I can. From what I'm counting it, we have 3 objectives. Number 1, track down Turpin's family. Number 2, find out discover the roots of the conspiracy with the murder of Woes and the Arcanum.
Mhm.
And 3, look for evidence that suggests that Inode pulled the wool over Kywind's eyes.
Mhm.
If we can't accomplish all three, we can't accomplish all three. But I feel like we should be on the lookout for all three of those things.
Well, that encrypted letter is something about what's going on too. So we got to figure that out, and we got to go in stealthily, though, guys. I'm telling you, we got to go in. We got to figure it out.
Stealth is the right option.
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. We dress as Elvis impersonators.
Oh.
All
right.
I feel pretty confident I can help with getting us in, and maybe even our friends in the command tech might be able to help with that as well.
We also need to pull on that thread too.
I wonder if Cal's idea for the tower might perhaps be the new connection that the bargaining chip that maybe Inode might be tempted to renegotiate a contract.
But we don't have a ship yet.
Not yet.
No,
but
someday.
It's on the horizon.
Yeah. I mean,
how many ports of the air could there be in the continent?
Well, we're going to get some major attention.
As soon as they get jealous, they'll have 12.
If Inode or the Arcanum have their tendrils wrapped around the command tech, if we can sever that connection, that's a huge win for Kywind.
Yeah. Really finding any evidence that the Arcanum is in league with the sacking of the cities.
Mm-hmm.
Well, even if we find evidence of it, what are we going to do to them?
I don't know.
It
puts us in a better negotiating position.
Well, maybe you're right.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. It would give me one hell of a bargaining chip for them not to try and keep chopping my head off every time they see me.
That's true.
Well, it's always nice to keep your head. So,
yeah, just ask Mantis.
So we just start getting our supplies together, and we'll just. Do you want to talk about next week as we recover?
How long is of a trip is it?
Brendan? That is a great question. Give me a moment. Talk amongst yourselves.
We also want to try and visit the chieftain too along the way, right?
Yep.
The chieftain, and we want to check out the progress on the airship.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
All that we can cover next week.
Place.
Yep. Yeah. Sounds good.
That sounds awesome.
So I think this is as good a time as any for us to be kind of calling it and to be moving along. This was a fun way to get back.
Turpin would probably want to talk to. Turpin would probably want to talk to Beatrice before, like the night before they leave.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that next week. Yeah.
We can do that next week. That's fine.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah,
all right. Well, in that case, I think this is where we're going to call it for this evening. We will come in next week, awake and not semi-falling asleep. We love you. We're here for you. And hey, guess what? We're going to save a spot by the fire for you. So we'll see you next week. Gather around.
Where you going? Now, how to break a contract.
What?
Oh, well.